It's Friday night, time for crafts and pure delight. Paper, scissors, let's get started. With vintage tape, we'll be wholehearted. Every honey deserves her day in the sun. With enamel dots, we're ready for fun. Layering circles and punch stars too. In the late night crafty club, it's all for you. Glue sticks ready, let's make a plan. Planners and office supplies in hand. Honey half-season whimsy arrows, crafting magic like true heroes. Every honey deserves her day in the sun. With enamel dots, we're ready for fun. Layering circles and punch stars too. In the late night crafty club, it's all for you. Doodads and gumballs, let's create a scene. Join the club where we live our dream. So grab your scissors and come along. Together we'll craft and sing our song. Slip into jammies, grab something to sip. Stickers and golden scissors, let's take a crafty trip. The playbook's open with listers, got a list. In this crafty paradise, our dreams coexist. Every honey deserves her day in the sun. With enamel dots, we're ready for fun. Layering circles and punch stars too. In the late night crafty club, it's all for you. Cards and pockets display our creativity. 32-pound paper so smooth and buttery. Scratch your cards, help your ideas flow. What will you make during the late night crafty show? Gather around, it's Friday night. Time for crafts and pure delight. Paper, scissors, let's get started. With vintage take, we'll be wholehearted. Every honey deserves her day in the sun. With enamel dots, we're ready for fun. Layering circles and punch stars too. In the late night crafty club, it's all for you. It's all for you. Late night crafty club, it's all for you. Slip into jammies, grab something to sip. Stickers and golden scissors, let's take a crafty trip. The playbook's open with listers, got a list. In this crafty paradise, our dreams coexist. Cards and pockets display our creativity. 32-pound paper so smooth and buttery. Scratch your cards, help your ideas flow. What will you make during the late night crafty show?
Hello and welcome everybody to the Late Night Crafty Club. Isn't that song so fun? It's so cute. I love watching the little video for it. It's been a year since it's been up. So watching it again was it's so adorable. I think my favorite thing is the little gingerbread family inside the car, and the little tires are little records that are going around in circles. It's so adorable. Hello and welcome and Merry Christmas, everybody. It is a Christmas edition of the Late Night Crafty Club. And also I have something very big to share. I didn't wait for the show to start to give you the links, the details. I was just like, here you go. Here's the link. I posted the link in the Happy Place Club. It is in the chat room. So I'm going to be talking about the Crafty Girl Yearbook. Woo! You guys didn't even know I was working on this. I think the only people that I mentioned it to was the all access members of the Happy Place Club. But if you miss the playbook, this is the playbook replacement. And I got to say, I like it a whole lot more. And it's for an entire year. So you purchase it one time, and then you have it all year long. And it actually serves a different purpose in a way. But I'm going to do a whole flip through, and I'm going to talk about it and why it is so near and dear to my heart. But First things first, we must welcome everybody to the Late Night Crafty Club. And it's also Friday, so happy Friday, and welcome to the back of my RV, which is a little plain Jane. I don't have all my little Christmas stuff. This is literally the only Christmassy things. Look, this is it. These are the only two Christmas ornamental stuff. And my little reindeer ears. And I think in the background you can see my little Merry Christmas bunting, because I was not about to go digging through the storage trying to find my bin when I have so many other things to do. So it just wasn't going to happen this year. But next year, things will be different. Things will be different. Mark my words. On this day, December 19th, 2026, there will be a different Corey sitting here. Mark my words. So yeah, I'm really, really happy to see your little faces. It's been a while. It feels like it's been a long while. I think the last time we gathered was I don't know, was it post-Thanksgiving? Pre-Thanksgiving? It's all blurred together. The reason why I made this book is because it all blurs together. I can't remember the fine details of anything. So let's get to the top of this chat room and say hi to everybody. So I think the first one here is Bethany. I'm now prevented from seeing the first one here because it's covered. So it appears it's Bethany. So welcome. Hello, Miss Bethany. And hello, Rebecca Kilgore. And hi, Justine. Hi, Miss Melanie. Melanie, is it snowing in Minnesota? I need to know. Have you guys seen on the news what is going on here in the state of Washington? There was a levee that broke here. We're in the city in which I live. Now I live up on a hill. Thank goodness. Down where it broke is more industrial, although there are people who live down there, but it was all over the news apparently, which I don't watch the news. I don't have access to any of that. So I didn't even know. I didn't even know what was happening. I was getting text messages. Are you okay? So wild stuff, but I did see it. It does look crazy when you see it on the news. When levees break, it is quite, it's makes your mouth drop just to see all that crazy water. Let's see here. So where was I? Hello, Miss Shelley K. You are here. We are happy to see you. Hello, Miss Margie, my pen pal. See what I did there? Let's see. Hi, Miss Michelle. Hi, Julie. Hi, Michelle Kingsley down under. Hello, Miss Sharon. Hi, Denise. Hi, Miss Pam. Hello, Miss Patricia. Hello, Stephanie Sawmiller. Hi, Doreen. Hello, Amy. Amy the Great. Love that. My Jersey friend. Hello, Miss Heather. Hello, Kelly, our friend in Belgium, which is probably super late there. We're happy to see you, Miss Kelly. Hi, Miss Sherry. Hello to Ray. Ray of Sunshine. That's so cute. I love how you did that with your name. Hello, Miss Robin. Hello, Miss Pearl. I almost said Pearl Jam. That's with my little old eyes without my readers. I swear I saw Pearl Jam. Hello, Miss Pearl Ann. Hi, Miss Carrie Hill. It's good to see you. Hello, Miss Creative Mish. Hello, Miss Jennifer Gober. Hi, Lisa. Hello, Miss Dawn, my roller derby friend up there in Canada, eh? Hello, Miss Janice and Chris, your fellow Canadian brethren. Let's see. And hello, Danny, down there in SoCal. Hello, Miss Darlis. Hello, Miss Kelly. Hello, Lorelei. Hi, Christy. Oh, your niece lives in Kent. Hello, Miss Margaret. Lorelei, it's about 100 pages. 100 plus pages, actually. Hello, Miss Chris Johnston. Down under also. Got to do the little down under gesture. The official Australian gesture that I just made up right there on the spot. Hello, Miss Sean. Hello. And Taurus. Hello, Miss Taurus. I'm so happy you're here as well. And Oh, don't tell me, don't tell me. I recognize your icon, although your name is different, but I recognize the icon. Give me a second. Okay, it's going to come to me. I recognize the way that that looks. It's funny how when you have like, I feel like I have a little bit of a photographic memory. It wants to be here. I want to see your name. Hello, Miss Myers. Hello, friends, she says. And oh, YouTube has done a number on some names, or some of you change your names every now and then. But I recognize when you guys keep the little icon and you don't change that, believe it or not, I zero in on that sometimes. I associate it with your names. And then I'm like, oh, I got that. Hi, Miss Stacy Burns. And that one I believe I recognize. So just give me a second. Oh, see, look. See, you said the same thing. It's Danny. Danny, you were in Germany and now you're in South Carolina. I remember you saying that you were in Germany. Hi, Miss Debbie Farnham. Okay, so this is what we're doing tonight. I am going to be doing the late night chatty club because I am leaving tomorrow for California. So it is going to be a night of packing because this week I was completely focused on getting this book, my little heart, getting it all up onto Flowdesk. That is where I'm selling it, not in my store like I normally do. We are trying to shift away from that into a new direction. So it is it's different than what you normally see us do. Your eyes are not deceiving you. I'm selling it on Flowdesk, which is unusual. But I think that we're doing it that way for a reason. We'll see how it goes. I think it might work out. There's a lot of benefits to it, doing it that way. So we shall see. So I'm going to be asking you guys lots of fun questions about Christmas stuff. You know how like we like to do here? Sometimes it's a little bit of trivia. Sometimes a little get to know you. So it's fun. It brings back memories and all that fun stuff. So, and I think right now is a good time for us to reminisce because as we got to be adults and have to do all that adulting Christmas stuff, it's not nearly as much fun as when you're a kid and just get to sit back and do all the kid fun Christmas stuff. Are you with me? I seem to recall Christmas being super fun as a child, but it's a lot different when you are older. And then it's another phase you go through when your kids become adults. And that phase lasts a lot longer, right? The phase of having adult children. And then that phase, sometimes you get grandchildren. So then you get to relive that over again. And then that's kind of fun because then, grandchildren, I suppose you get to spoil them and hand them back over to mom and dad. But I don't have that. I don't have that layer of life. I don't have grandchildren. So I just have the adult child phase. That's where Mark and I are at. So it's kind of interesting. It's not as exciting. You kind of have to make your own joy out of things. But I do notice it kind of puts you in a different mindset. So I'm really next year, I'm really bringing it because things are going to be different. Mark and I are going to go through a big life change. And I'm going to talk more about that after the new year. I'm going to wait on that and then tell you guys more about that after the new year. So, yeah. So there's a life update, as YouTubers love to put that video up, a life update. But I'm going to, do the video in such a way that will be very clickbaity. So that the traditional way of getting people to click because you're thinking I'm going away. But I'm really not. I'm never going away, ever. At the top of the chat room, you will see the link for the yearbook that I'm holding in my hands, which I have bound with discs. So the book doesn't come with that. I bound it that way because discs are really my favorite way of binding things because it's so flexible. It allows you to add pages. And in my opinion, this is definitely a book that you would want to add pages to kind of like craft more in it if you wanted to. So that's why I chose to do it that way. But certainly you could do it any way you wish. Everyone has their different, favorite binding styles, that kind of thing. So that's what I am doing, is getting ready to leave. So I'm kind of doing a shorter show than normal. But I did want to let you know that I'm going to be doing a New Year's Eve late night crafty club. So I will be back for December 31st, and I will be kicking off at 5 o'clock. I have done a New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, sometimes both, kind of event in the past. I've done them multiple years like that, and it's always a lot of fun because introverts is traditional for us to stay home. We are very bah humbug about going out on New Year's Eve, and I know a lot of extroverts are too, because as you get older, it's like, why do we want to go out, deal with traffic, deal with crowds, deal with people? People. But no, I know extroverts are like, yay, people. So anyway, but the Late Night Crafty Club was made for introverts. Not gonna lie, that is what it was built for. That is who I was thinking of, is, hey, I wonder what my introvert friends are doing on a Friday night like me, because I'm just sitting here. What if we all got together in our jammies? That is what I did it for. And let's see. And I believe that was exactly 10 years ago. 10 years ago, pretty much, I want to say the show debuted. Did it debut in December? It debuted in the fallish, December-ish time 10 years ago, I think. But I was so chicken when it first came out that I was never on camera. I actually pre-recorded the show, and then I would put it up, and then I would be in the chat room. So I was not live. And I don't even know, I'm not remembering if I was actually on camera yet. So I don't remember if the very first time was on camera, although I think I was. And I was in my jammies. And I think the first episode I talked about the paper punch buffet. I think that was the first episode that debuted. And the one and only time I had a bottle of wine, because it was called She's Crafty. And I thought that was like such a fun way to kick off the show. And I'm not even a wine drinker. Like, I literally never drink it. But I thought this will be so cool because it was called that. And I felt like this wine must have its moment in the sun, much like a honey. But yeah, that was its only appearance. And I just felt like it's kind of like when they send a ship off into the ocean and they knock that bottle of champagne against it. It was like that. That's how the Late Night Crafty Club was christened, with a little bottle of She's Crafty. I think later in camp, I had a little can of Moscato, but it was like a little bubbly drink. It was like not even it wasn't wine. It was like some weird little, it was a weird little mixture drink. I knocked it over, and then it set off my alarm in the RV. So that's it. That was my long career with alcohol, and I don't even drink it. So that should teach me a lesson. So, yes. Patricia's like, can we just see the yearbook, please? Yeah, that's great, Corey. Can we just see the goods, please? Patricia, I like where your head's at. That's what I like. I just like eager customers, right? Don't need to warm up the crowd. Just need to, let's get down to business. Okay. So at the top of the chat room, we usually put the most important link I ever talk about during the show. And that's where you'll find it. The top of the chat room. That will be the link. That's the link for the yearbook. And it will be that way all throughout time until the show ends. That is the link. So if you have the chat room open, you should see at the top, it's pinned to the top. I don't know what it looks like on a phone, but on a device like a laptop or the computer, it's pretty prominent. So I can't verify what it looks like on the phone. All right, let's get into it. Patricia's got things to do. All right. I'm just teasing Patricia. I'd be the same way. I'd be like, I want to see. I just need to see. Okay. So here it is. Now it does. Let me just say this. I have provided 2 files for the very first time ever. I'm not making you do all the heavy lifting with the printing. I've given you 2 files. So you can print both if you want, but you can print one or the other, and you don't have to figure out, do I reduce this? Do I make my printer figure it out? You get a classic happy planner size, which is this, or you get a US letter size. So for all my foreign friends, it is an 8.5 by 11. So I think the A4, which you guys are used to, I think A4 is slightly larger. And then this is the, let's see, 7 inches by 9.25. So that is the difference. So here's a letter size. And then here's this one. Isn't it cute? It's so compact. I am just a super fan of the smaller compact size. I just prefer that. But I gave you both so you can have options. So if you like larger, and that's what your printer is, your printer just likes the bigger size, and this is just easier for you, then you don't have to wrestle with your printer, and you can do that. The other thing I wanted to point out to you is we are doing something different when we give you the file. So, and if I had been thinking about it, I would have brought that to the live so I could show it to you. Perhaps my assistant can print it so I can show you. So instead of you getting just a link, I'm actually providing you a PDF that has 2 links embedded in it. So they look like buttons. So now you can like click on it and download it. So you have a PDF now that provides like, here's some more information about your product. Here's how you get in touch with the Reset Girl. Here's a button to like join all my things. It takes you to the trg.cafe, and here's the 2 files. So it's all set up for you in a PDF. So you can save that PDF into your computer or your device somewhere. And now you have all the information you need for that file, for getting connected with me. And you only have to save it one place. Is that not convenient? That's another benefit of us moving away from the store, is that now you have this interesting way of holding your file. It's like a file within a file, like a dream within a dream. So I think it is being printed for us, and then I can show it to you and you don't have to use your imagination. So here's the cover. Is that the most adorable cover girl ever? I just love her. She just looks so angelic. She just looks so dreamy. So I had to put her on the cover. Okay. So before I start flipping through, I need to let you know something. There's a couple things that are very different about this book than the past, because the playbook is very, very, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay, so this is what you'll get when you actually download it from Flowdesk. You'll get this sheet. So just don't be surprised and think, hey, what is this? Corey pulled a fast one on me. So as you can see, these right here are how you actually download the files. So this is what you get from Flowdesk. Here's the button to go to the place where all my links are. So you can find the calendar for the Late Night Crafty Club. You can join my newsletters. You can join the clubhouse if you wish to. And then here's where you actually click and download the file. Click, download the file. But you can save this onto your device so you always have it. And now you have like, it's like a portal into a magic world. So you always have this. This becomes so important. I started getting these from people in a different niche that I've been, participating in. And I realized this is such a cool way of giving people files, because now they have one thing to store, and it contains everything you need to contact that person, know how to get involved with that person, and it's got all the good things. So this is what you're going to get from me. This is your first stop on the little trail to the yearbook. And I didn't want you to be surprised, because it is very different than what you have gotten in the past. Okay, so the next thing I need to just give you a little bit of a backstory, is I went on a little adventure this year. And what I discovered, this discovery I made, is one of the things I have kind of done over the last 10 years of being in this world, in this space, is I've put a lot of rules upon myself about having to decorate a certain way, things needing to be very aesthetic. I had to be very branded. I couldn't just like decorate how I wanted to. If I was going to share something, how I used to share on Instagram, if I shared something in the clubhouse, whatever I'm doing, I always feel like it has to be a certain way because that's my brand. And privately, off camera, I have just been doing something, a practice to break me out of that thinking and to just, what did I used to do when I was younger and I didn't care, you didn't know about any of this. None of us did. There was no such thing as social media. There was no such thing as looking at other people's art. You just made stuff in your room by yourself with the music on, and you just did it for yourself because you liked it. And what did we have back then? So I started thinking about that. I had my magazines and my stickers. That's what most of us Gen X girls had, stickers and magazines. And we would cut those up and we would decorate something like that. And all I know is when I started collecting just really simple stickers, stuff I would have used when I was younger, and now they're pretty prolific, cheap stickers, stuff that you would probably see in a classroom, goofy things that don't match. They don't look like anything you guys see me use. They're cheap stuff and stuff I don't care about. Like, so I don't care if I'm just wasting stickers. That's another thing. Like, I hoarded my stickers as a child. I didn't even use them. Like, I was very careful with them. When I gave my precious sticker collection to my daughter when she was a kid, she was putting them on everything. She was not like me. It was precious to me, but to her, they were just fun things to use up. So that just kind of has shown me how I have this very kind of like everything's too precious to use mindset. So I have gotten myself a ton of cheap stickers, and I've been putting them on everything like I am a 10-year-old. And I'm telling you, it has been the best decision I've ever made because it has helped break me out of that controlled mindset when it comes to creativity, when it comes to having more freedom in how I play. One of the things I have also learned is that when my paper, like a notebook, when my paper is cheap, when doesn't feel like buttery smooth 32-pound paper, I am not likely to care what happens to it. When I print something on super nice special paper, as soon as I have a nice notebook, my mentality instantly becomes, I'm going to ruin it by writing on it. I can't just practice or play with this because it's special. Sometimes our paper quality, it actually traps us that we have to be precious with it. So this is kind of a problem, is that I realized that was another stumbling block, is that sometimes having really nice things ends up becoming something that you don't feel you can play with. So that was another step of getting away from that. Let's try and make something that doesn't feel fancy. So I deliberately wanted to choose fonts and a design that didn't feel so elevated and fancy. I wanted it to feel more like something you would have felt was fun back in high school. I wanted it to feel more like something you would have appreciated as a teenager. So it has more of an 80s feel. It has more of a youthful feel. It has something that kind of would make you gravitate towards, that you wouldn't care as much if you messed it up, because there's no messing it up. It is meant to play in, but I couldn't call it a playbook because I had already used that name. And so it made me realize that it's not about crafting this. The purpose of what I wanted to do was not really about just crafting, because that is something that is not just like the focal point for us, especially as we get older. That's not just the focal point. I realized one thing, like for me personally, and I'm sure a lot of you can appreciate this, is a lot of us a lot of us are leading very ordinary lives. We don't have a lot of big events happening in your life, especially as you get older and you get set in your routines. Your days are pretty ordinary, and ordinary is really hard to track. It's hard to track. I can look back over the last month and I would be hard pressed to try to remember anything significant that happened in the last month. I'd have to really work at it to try to remember. So I didn't have a system of just capturing small detail. I always feel like there's something, if it's big enough, then it's worth photographing. If it's something of that magnitude, then yeah, I would put it in a pocket page, and I try to talk myself into photographing things, but then it never makes it into an album or something, it doesn't. As good as my intentions are, it just doesn't. So how can I work with my natural, like when things are just super busy, and my life has been very busy, even though I'm not doing anything special. I don't really go anywhere because right now everything has been focused on work and projects. And a lot of people can find themselves in different seasons when you get to be about our age, is either your life is slowing down and your days are very small, or your life is sped up and they're so busy that you're not really living a life that feels like super meaningful. So how do you capture all those little in-between moments? The times where, in my opinion, things like when I got really obsessed about, like, I told Mark, like, here's something that would be interesting to me to capture, is for 10 years, I never drank soda, ever. But this year, Mark and I have become diet, Dr. Pepper Zero drinkers, because it was introduced to us and it was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And that to me is a significant threshold that I crossed over. That's worth writing down, in my opinion, because I don't have a lot of big events happening anymore. So to me, that is like, that's something that's worth documenting, but I don't have anything to document it in. So when I started thinking about it, I just realized, like, I would love to have a system where I'm just documenting these small things, my currentlies, like we used to have when I was doing all these different types of books, my currentlies, my seasons, my, the monthly events and the seasonal events. And there's things that I used to do when I would produce a book. Like, one thing I loved in the last year of the First Love Club is I used to love making those seasonal trend reports. So that's something I wanted to put into this book, was to help you design your own seasonal trend for your life, which would help you kind of like a little bit what they call romanticizing your life, making it feel like a little more special as you kind of design a season for yourself. So there's kind of like fun things in here to like prod you into making a little bit more meaning or a little bit more intention in how you're living your month. Like, this month, I'm going to do these things. This season, this is the bucket list I'm going to complete. And then there's just the stuff that you actually do and you document. And let's face it, these are going to be really mundane things, but they are worth documenting, because you don't want year after year after year to pass. And you look back and go, I don't even know what I did when I was this age or that age, because not a lot of significant things can happen to us, that it's worth feeling like, well, I didn't write any of that down, but I know I binge watched this show, or I got into that book series, or I was in a season where I was like reading a lot of this, this particular thing, or learning this particular thing, or I finished school. But some of those things are just, you don't have somewhere to record this as a sequential kind of part of your life. So I just wanted something that was easy to do all of that in, but would invite you to have like a little craft practice, something you could like collage in really easy, use stickers, throw little clippings in, use your stash, like stuff that you don't even care about if you want to, just so that you're kind of like doing busy work in front of the TV if you want. Low pressure crafting that you don't have to think about too much, that you don't have to make beautiful, but it just makes you feel good. Stickering, using your stickers, feels good. It feels good to pull a sticker off the page. It feels good to just lay stuff around. It just does. And the more I've done it, the more I believe this. I believe how I can't believe how much fun it's been putting mismatched stickers all over my page. Like I'm in elementary school all over again. But see, I didn't even really do that when I was in elementary school because I didn't like to waste my stickers. So now it's just, I love that so much. So when I made this, that was what I was thinking. I wanted a very simple book. So that was what I wanted to share with you is I wanted a book that made it very low pressure for you to feel like I can do whatever I want in this book. I don't have to make it beautiful. This is a low pressure thing. This is about practice, having fun. It is just about showing up like my young self and putting whatever I want in here. And it's not about performing your best creative work. This is about documenting what you did this week, this month, this season. And if you have time to throw some stickers on here, do a little bit of collage. If you felt like, hey, I heard a really great quote today, I'm going to put that in my curated page. It's called Captured. So that's what I wanted to share with you before we dove in so that you understood the purpose behind this and you could understand that I get like as we, being more Gen X and boomer aged, that sometimes we're kind of in that position where we're not really documenting our lives anymore because we're past our kids being older and we focus on our grandkids. You focus on others and you're not really thinking about you. And unless big things happen, we're just really not recording things unless you have a good journal practice. A lot of us don't. I don't want to fill out a big journal page, but this right here, thank you very much, Miss Kelly Anderson, low stakes crafting. That's exactly what this is. This is jotting things down. This is throwing on a sticker. This is the place where the least is expected of you. And although I encourage people to share in the Happy Place Club, if you do this just for yourself, that's all we can ask. That's all I can ask. That is what I'm asking. What I produce this for is for each and every one of us just to have a place where I'm just documenting my life. So I have something to go, wow, I actually lived a life. Because this year, I don't have much to show for it. I don't remember a lot of what I did, except I can say, well, I launched Camp Reset. Unless it was a big thing that made a big blip on my radar, a lot of my months just kind of disappeared into my waste trash basket and has gone away. I have no way of retrieving it. So here we go. Let's dive in now that you have the backstory on what it is and why it's going to be a bit different than past books, because its priority is not on the crafting. Its priority is on the documenting. All right, so we are past the cover. Hello 2026. I made one fun little page for you with a nice quote, and then we have the craft year 2026. So for each little spot here, which these are months, you can set an intention right up front for each month or create a theme. I thought that'd be kind of fun, is like, what if I had a theme for each month? Because I'm thinking of like trying to make my year feel more special, and have a theme or something that I'm sort of like a goal that I'm like trying to like achieve towards. Like, how do I want that month to feel? What if it almost like each month has its own little word for the month that you're sort of like thinking about, giving it like a mood, you know what I mean? So that's what this is, but you can totally, however you want to use this spot. I was throwing out an idea. And then here's a place for your glorious word for the year, writing it here. And then I thought this would be really helpful for you is how is that word actually going to show up in these areas of your life? And I actually looked up what are I guess there's like 6 dimensions of our life. And these are what those dimensions are, according to the experts. And so how is that word going to show up and how will it affect those areas of your life? This kind of makes you be really thoughtful about what you pick, not just picking a word that you like the sound of it, but like, here's how that word is actually going to benefit me. How will it actually work in my life? How am I going to apply it? So it actually does have meaning and purpose for you. And then this is your intentions. You could look at it as intentions or goals. I think people have kind of gravitated to the word intentions because it feels a little less hustly than goal. It feels a little more gentle, I guess. So, but before we set those little goals or intentions, I wanted you to consider like, but what have you been avoiding in those areas? Because sometimes we only focus on like what we want to do, but we don't think about, well, what do I always skip over instead of focusing on what I should do? So this kind of made me feel more accountable doing this first. Like, what am I really avoiding in these areas before I set the intentions that I want to do? And then here was my vision board for 2026, or whatever you want to call it. However you want to adapt that, you could just make like, I like making mood boards. How do I want 2026 to feel? What is that look for it? However you want to, play that out. What is your word for the year? What do you want it to look like? And then here's your first season, which is winter. And this space right here around winter, you can use that as a little, like an art journaling space. So you can like do a whole winter theme around this with your stickers, your paints, your ephemera. So you can use this as well. So here is your trend report. So this is basically based on how I tended to do my own work. When I build a collection, when I would build my own books, I would create what I would call a trend. I actually worked in this genre, this field, before I started doing the Reset Girl, like as a job. There's actually, I don't know if you were aware of this, but in the world, they have companies, and there's just really a handful of them that specialize in trends. And they base trends on global information. And it could be based on things like the Olympics, movies that are coming out, things that are going to create a stir in society. And sometimes it can be global stirs, sometimes it's small and local, like here in America, but they can predict these things anywhere from like a year to 2 years out, that this is going to happen and it's going to cause a ripple effect in society. So if you guys recall, some of the things that I can remember when I worked in this field was there was a trend for a long time that was the little mustache. Do you guys remember the little curly Q mustache? And it was like you saw that mustache for like little baby showers, little boy birthdays. I must ask you a question, like the mustache you a question. So that little mustache was super popular. It was in cake decorating. It was on t-shirts. It was in jewelry. It was all over the place. Hobby Lobby, Target. It was on nurseries, like decorating. That was a trend. That was something that company predicted. Now, the origin of it, I can't remember. But when I started working for this company, they would purchase these trend reports from this particular company in England. These trend reports cost tens of thousands of dollars, and every store you shop at buys them. I'm talking companies from Target to Hobby Lobby to carpet companies, paint companies. They all purchase from the same 3 or 4 trend companies. And so it's a very tiny little faction of people that create these reports. And that's why the trends are so like concentrated. And it's why you'll see not just fashion and things like visual things you can see, but you'll also hear like language come out of it. It's crazy. And it's true. It shows up in our clothes, in our homes. Pantone is one of the leaders in this arena. Like they will release their color of the year, and somehow that color will start getting released all throughout everything, the whole 9 yards. It goes through every little I'm trying to think, niche that there is that we consumers buy from. So it's really interesting. But that little facet of my job that I had doing the trend report, distilling it down to the industry that I was in, to translate that to help other companies like take that information and sell it to their customers. I loved that part of my job. And so I brought that into the Reset Girl. That is why we were the first sticker company that had color palettes. I had names for all of my stickers. I brought that concept and I brought it all the way through everything that I did, and all the way to having a formal trend report. So I thought this would be really fun is for you could cruise around Pinterest to kind of like get a flavor for it. One of the companies that does such a great job with their color palettes has always been Studio Calico. They don't do it anymore. Whoever was doing it in their company stopped doing it. They don't work there anymore, but it was actually one individual. But on Pinterest, if you type in Studio Calico color palette, you will see these gorgeous mood boards that they used to make. But anyway, you could use that as an example to see like building what a color palette would look like. You can choose a theme for your season and what that mood feels like. You could, collect flavors or a fragrance. And this is what you could, think about your home, how you want it to feel, how you want to dress. I'm not saying go out and buy all these things. I'm saying curate what you have in your home. It kind of gives you a little bit of a purpose. And this is what they call romanticizing your life, like making it feel intentional and meaningful. And it gives you like this sense of like a bit more in control of something, making it feel like more special in your home or around, like choosing like, I'm going to get a special fragrance that fits my mood that I'm building because I am going to build this theme around my life this season. I want it to feel this. It is super, super fun. I was thinking that this would be something I would want to experiment with this year, and that's my word for the year. So you can skip this. You don't have to do it, but I thought it would be fun. I'm going to be doing it, so I put it in here. You can add patterns. This could be stuff you doodle. You could print stuff out and add it here. You can just do it for fun, like a creative exercise, and then not actually do any of it in your life. It could just be fun to do. But I have always loved doing this. And if you go on Pinterest and type in trend, winter trends, spring trends, you will see tons and tons of inspiration come up to see how people do this. The scrapbook industry does it all the time. It's how they come out with their collections. So as a creative person, it could be very inspiring for you to kind of go through the exercise of doing it and help you kind of think differently. It's a lot of fun. So you have a bucket list here. This is you designing what you want to do that season, what's important to you, what do you want to see, and checking it off. And then you have a place to document your winter events. You have the things that you achieved in the winter, your winter wins, your seasonal joys. What defined the season for you? So what were those things in the winter that really made it special or awesome? What were your seasonal staples? So here's where you can right, when I have winter, these are the things I pull out. This is like my winter staples, the thing that I love about the season and I always make happen. Standout moments. So here were like special things. When they happen, write them down. It's really easy to forget these things. And then hello, January. So now we're moving into one of our winter months. So this is kind of like a mood board or a vision board or whatever way you want to call this. Like what is January for you? You could cover this in just art journaling, a January collage, however you want to treat this. This is like a little January playground. So however you want to, you can make this about putting photos and stuff here, or however. It's very, very free. I didn't even add a border to it because I wanted you to do whatever you liked here. You have a gratitude page. This is kind of the way, one of the formats we used to use was this really cool hexagon. I couldn't think of the word. So you could fill these in. You could also use patterns to kind of craft in here as well. And then here is a currently page. There's a section for learning, which I made slightly larger to encourage you to learn something every month. This is an area of which I learned as we get older that the process of learning helps keep our brains super strong and healthy. So making sure you're learning things kind of encouraging yourself to be accountable to that. So I deliberately made that larger so that I would be reminded to make sure I am continuing to learn. So things you're inspired by, what did you start? What did you finish? Eating and sipping. What were you obsessed with this, month? And it could be anything. It could be like, I was reading a lot of the Bible, or I was obsessed with this new tea that I got, or Dr. Pepper Zero. Listening, reading, and watching the classics. Oh, yes. Right, Shelly? She says, I still have my Hexy Punch from the Paper Punch Buffet days. Me too. I love the hexagon. Absolutely. And then the captured page. So the captured page is the commonplacing page. I have been loving commonplacing so much, capturing all these quotes. So this is your captured page. You can it's kind of like think of it like your own monthly bulletin board or a sticky note parking lot. It's a place to just throw all the things on here for thoughts, quotes, ideas, lists, or reflections that you want to keep. So this could be a funny quote you heard or a joke. You could jot it down here. You could throw a sticky note on here. It could be a receipt that you want to keep. So it can be whatever you want to do to capture. Over here, but take that receipt part out. It goes over here. So this was January. A place to record the bits of life you lived this month. Simple moments, small wins, doodles, ephemera, photos, and field notes. Again, I kept this super simple. The less design, the more your crafting shines, the more you feel less pressure to keep up the beauty. If I made it all super designy, I feel like it puts pressure on me to like keep up the standard when I don't have the energy or the creative bandwidth to like make it awesome. I just kept it simple. And I chose a font that felt like more fun. It looks the way I've been writing lately is doing hand-drawn letters, just like that. And I have been loving it so much. So I deliberately picked a really approachable font that didn't look really beautiful and fancy, because as soon as I see stuff like that, I immediately start feeling like this is a fancy book. I wanted this to be a playful book, something that you wouldn't feel pressure to keep. I got to make it pretty. I have to make this look nice. This is about just having fun. This is just fun. Just fun. It's fun. It's fun. And then now you're heading into February. So there is just 2 months of winter. The way this book kind of starts at the beginning of the year. December is technically in the winter section, but because I'm starting at the beginning of 2026, it's awkwardly placed. So you'll find December at the back, and it's kind of like, it's kind of heady. It's kind of tailing after in the fall. So it looks like there's 4 months back there. But I noticed that's kind of what a lot of people do when they have seasonal mixed with monthlies. So that's what I decided to do too. So we have our Februaries, and then we have our spring, and the spring comes with its trend report, its bucket list, its documented page, and then the first month of spring and April, and then our May. So super simple. You're adding the color, you're adding your ephemera. It's all going to start lighting up because you're putting all of the good stuff in there. I'm keeping it very low key so that what I have here does not outshine what you're doing. Same principle. We have the Hello Summer. I just put the barest of color just to keep a little touch of that particular season. So we have our summer trend report, our bucket list, our documented pages, and then we head into our summer months. Hopefully June is where we'll see Camp Reset for 2026. And then we head into July and August. And then hello fall. And then this is where fall will have our September month. So I will have it all on track. This year, I will be putting September into the fall lineup. So I've been off from that all along. So this will be different, but I will be putting September into my fall schedule. So normally the way playbooks have always worked, the way I've always kind of done the memberships, I've always started fall with October, and now I'm moving it back because I'm trying to make our seasons more like school was when we were growing up. I think we're all conditioned that when September starts, it's fall because we all went back to school in the fall, and that was really September. So, so now we're in October, and then hello November, and then like I said before, you're just going to see December. Technically, December is really the beginning of winter, but it was awkward to kind of start your book in December. So that's what we're doing there. So this was 2026. This is your kind of place to put a highlight or a win for each month. You could do that as the months progress. Come back here and record your highlight of how things went. And then here's at the very end, here's all the deets about the Late Night Crafty Club, the Happy Place Club, and the shop. So this is what I got. The Crafty Girl Play Kits. I will always be mindful when designing them that the pieces in them could be things that you can throw in here. I'm making them very friendly to what could fit in here. So this is really my flagship product. And so everything I do from now on is designed to be with that. So I will give you an example. I am now designing 2 different freebies. So if you are on my newsletter for the Reset Girl newsletter, it's the Cozy Creative. Every single month, all year long, I will be giving a freebie that matches this book. So you'll get this self-care little journal page with a tracker. So there's a winter self-care menu and a little tracker so you can track how many times did I take care of myself. And it's a whole menu. So it's a little menu of things you can choose to do for yourself, little practical little ideas, and on the back with some little journaling. What was your theme, your self-care theme for the month? And what are you tending to? And this is all self-care focused, not projects or not like things, you know, that you need to do that are just goal oriented. This is your self-care time, you know, things you're going to do to take care of your body, your mind, your little spirit. So this kind of stuff is separate, and it's a freebie that I will be producing every single month that you will get. And they are all designed to go right into your book. So when January comes and you're on my list, I will send this out, and then you can pop that in here. So I printed mine to a classic happy planner size, and so I'll throw that in here. And then once a season, on the Clip and Snip, which is the official newsletter for the Late Night Crafty Club, I will be going back to the bingo sheet. And so there will be 4 of these for the year. And this will be, this is winter's prompts. So these are all designed to kind of dovetail with the projects that you would find associated with doing this kind of work or the play kit work. So everything is very cohesive. It all works together. If you do this kind of like yearbook work, this kind of crafty stuff, this is what I support here on the Late Night Crafty Club. This is the perfect project to bring here. If you want to share what you're doing and inspire us, that's what the Happy Place Club is perfect for. So this is what we would be accountable to doing together, which I think is a great project to do together. There is no pressure, though. You do not have to purchase this. The play kits are not, you don't have to have the yearbook to do any of the play kits. So play kits are standalone. I'm designing them so that you don't have to purchase anything else to have a play kit. So they live separately. If you are an all access member, you will still get a play kit, but you do not have to purchase the yearbook. So I made that really, really clear when I was designing the play kits that they would be separate project, like standalone little kits, because I never want anyone to feel pressure that they must buy yet another thing in order to enjoy it. So, and I wanted play kits to feel very simple, easy, approachable, because that's really the kind of brand I really want, because I think what I'm about is really simple crafting. I'm not trying to be super fancy. A lot of the times it's just fun to come on here and spend time with you. And so these are the kind of really like, what did Kelly say? Low effort, this is like a low effort crafting. This is perfect for a Friday night. So this is the kind of thing that you can easily record what I was doing in any given month or season. And you can make a collage like this. A collage can represent this. This was my April. because I can see myself doing that. If I didn't write down too much, making a collage for my April, that's something easy I could do right here on the Late Night Crafty Club. And you might see me do that. So that is, this is exactly the book that I wish I had made several years ago. I wish I had been keeping this for this year and the year before, so that I could look back on my life and go, wow, I was doing all of this, because it kind of is sad that the older we get, the faster life passes and the more we tend to forget. Like how did I just lead the last 3 months of my life? What did I do? How did that go? I don't remember. So hopefully this is the solution to that, and it's a very low bandwidth kind of crafting. When I look at my playbooks, as much as I loved my playbook, I didn't really finish them. I did a solid year in one year of them, and then the rest, they just kind of fell by the wayside. So I think this will be far more approachable, and it's not blank. So you don't have a blank book to work with. You have something that there's guidance, and there's something to, kind of help you along, and you're not having to craft in it if you don't want to. You have a purpose for it, and there's fun freebies that work alongside of it and that give you additional purpose. Like, here's prompts to craft in it if you want. This gives you some, here's ideas that you can do during the Late Night Crafty Club, even if you want to watch it on a replay. So that is that. So yes, the Play Kit is included in the All Access Pass for the membership. So the Play Kit comes out once a season, and that lasts for the entire season of the membership. And then that level of membership comes with 3 live streams that I do privately. So those are 3 more opportunities to craft along with me, for us to talk about the kit and what we're doing. And we could work, if you have the yearbook, you can work there. But like I said, you don't have to have the yearbook at all to have to make use of the Play Kit, because the Play Kit is specifically designed to do the fun crafting with it, to do low effort crafting in a notebook. So it's like even an easier barrier of entry. And if you think about it, as I was, it was like, wow, you could even have like a composition book, to practice in, to mess around with, to do all the experimenting you want using the Play Kit, and then do the stuff that you really love, ooh, I really like that technique I just did. And that's what you showcase in your yearbook if you wanted to. So yes, Miss Darling, I absolutely will be sharing. I will be sharing what I will be doing in my yearbook. So I'm really excited for this. I've had this book done now for a couple weeks. It was getting that sales page up. It's always technology that hinders me. But I am so happy with this. I am so happy with this. I really, I learned a big lesson. This book taught me a lesson, because I really did not ever think I would be able to produce books, because those books were just so designed, and I am not a graphic designer, and I didn't want to have another graphic designer build books for me again. So I just kind of thought, I'm just not going to be able to do them anymore. And I had my eyes opened to the fact that, what if you didn't make them that way? What if they served a different purpose? What if you intentionally made them super simple? And, my graphic design skills, I do have some, but if I make them super simple and make them so that they showcase your work, which is better, maybe maybe there'll be plenty of people who like them this way more. And I'm one of them. I actually I gravitate towards planners that are just plain black and white. And I really think books like this that are just very simple, I think are more fun to work with and throw all your stuff on them. So I might find that there's too much design in this one. So we shall see. But anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you tonight. I wanted to, she does, Miss Lee, she does have Julie Andrews vibes. She's really cute. So this girl right here, this is an advertisement for these. I think they're like for these little, they're like little pants, like little pedal pushers, which I think is why she's on a tricycle. I was wondering if I'd ever have a reason to use this cute little picture. And she ended up being perfect on top of there. I just love her so much. I didn't get to use her in camp, so I saved her in my little arsenal, and now she ends up there, and she just looks adorbs. But she is my superstar. I could not have found a better cover model. She is just precious. Both Mark and I were like, oh, she's perfect. I love her. So she just look so dreamy? She just looks so cute. So thank you. So thank you to everybody who's already ordered their copy, but this is going to be really fun. When I think about a lot of the stuff that we've done together as a community, whether it's been Listers Got a List and the playbooks that I've had in the past, it's been a long time since I've had something to offer that kind of gave us a collective thing to work on. So this is exciting to have this and to be able to work through it. And, and it's pretty simple, and it does give you a little touch of simple goal setting. It's a little touch of some seasonal. I really love the beginning of a season and the beginning of a month. I just do. I get very excited. It just feels like it's so, it's going to be great. I'm going to set goals. I don't even like to think of them as goals anymore, but I'm going to have a whole new vista to look at. It's like a fresh palette, to approach. And I might even work through doing a trend report so that you become a believer, or at least an understander what I'm talking about. I want you to catch my vision on this, because it genuinely can be fun. You may not want to carry it through your actual life, but it is fun to kind of see how people put together, this the scrapbooking world, and how you end up with a collection is very much predicated on trends, and it's very much predicated on seasons, and it's pretty literal. Obviously, I think the scrapbook world just really, I think a lot of people love to have literal seasonal icons in their decorating. I don't personally. I like having things that are just kind of generic, unless I took seasonal photos. So that would be the only time I ever kind of went outside that I don't know, that more expansive freedom. But I think even then, I think it'd be kind of fun to find things that are a little bit more unique or not as cutesy. So this will be fun to see where this takes you, and just trying something new, trying to see maybe you have no idea, what you're capable of doing. If you had a different format to work in, if you took I don't think sometimes we realize just what a box we put ourselves into, or how much perfectionism controls us, because it has controlled me for a very long time. I managed to break free of a lot of it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been doing TRG. I wouldn't come on. I wouldn't come on here doing some of the silly stuff I've done. Oh my Lanta, some of the crazy mistakes I've made. Hey kids, don't do this, and then I do exactly the thing that I told you not to do. Yeah, a lot of that wouldn't have happened if I had let perfectionism control me completely, but I know that it does. I know it has still continued to rob me. So I have just experienced some real breakthroughs, and I owe it to the stickers. I owe it to these fun little kid stickers. And it's true, when you're just slapping them around and you're not, the cheaper the better, there is just something really freeing about it. And it turns out that they can look really fun and silly together. And it does. It made me really happy to look at my page and feel like, wow, this actually turned out okay. Seeing my little notebook, this is something I would have totally made in junior high. This is junior high Corey right here. I didn't think I would like as much white space in between it, but I actually did. I used to cover it completely, but this I like. And it just, I don't know, this just makes me feel so good. And all it is just some stickers. And then I put some clear packing tape on it, just like I did back then. And it's some cheap notebook. And it just makes me so happy. And so I just realized I need to capture this and start doing it in here. And so it's just a matter now of sharing it and not being concerned that people are like, what is she doing? What are these stickers? Did she make those stickers? I think when you've made your living, and let's face it, Mark and I have made a living off of making stickers. I think that ends up becoming a serious challenge when you start using these little cheapy stickers. People are going to talk. they're going to, what's that little emoji eyebrow? They're going to have the emoji eyebrow looking at you. As my mom would call it, the stink eye. It's, that's what I imagine. That's what's going through my head is what the heck? And that's just one of those little voices that I'm just going to have to, shh, it's okay. It's okay. Right? Do we have that little voice that we just have to just self-soothe? That's what Mark does to me, just self-soothe. So thank you, my cousin. She just said that she loves my t-shirt. That's for my ohana, my Hawaiian ohana. So I think that once you jump in to my little kiddie pool and make some little silly stickers with me in your book, you will become a believer. Trust me. All right. So does anyone have any questions? Oh, and by the way, before I move on, these are going to be the freebies I release at the beginning of January. So if you're on my newsletter list, surprise, you'll be getting these automatically in your inbox. So I will be beginning to send those out. So that is what you will have. And anything else I need to tell you? The Winter PlayKit, it's going to be called the Cut and Paste PlayKit. That will be the next Crafty Girl PlayKit I release. That one will be available also the beginning of January. And if you are in the Happy Place Club, an all access member, you will have that as part of your membership. That will be automatic, ready for you to go. And I will be having all new content in the Happy Place Club as well. That will get its little winter refresh. So just very shortly, we're all going to be experiencing a new year, new look, new everything. It's going to be very exciting. So yeah, Shelly says bingo is another great way to use up your sticker stash. Indeed. All those little spots need to be covered up somehow, some way. So Shelly says she uses her stickers. I've done that too. I've used stickers. We used to actually make as part of like, I don't know if it was a freebie or it was part of the bingo play kit. I can't remember how we did it, but we used to produce little bingo spots, I think, that you would cut out and paste on there, or it was part of the paper. I can't remember the details, but I know of what I'm speaking. I'm not crazy. I know it's in there. Yes. Oh. Hello, Miss Sharon Wilcox. She says, I definitely need a sample trend report because I am not artistic. Not artistic? I have a hard time believing that. Hello, Miss Crystal. I had to check my little name book here. Awesome. So thank you again, everybody who has ordered a book. I appreciate it so much. Yes, and that's a good tip. Those of you who like to print digital stickers, printing on clear sticker, that's a smart tip, Miss Shelley, because then you can, sorry, wrong thing. Then you can print your sticker and on clear sticker stock, and then put it on top of the text and it'll still shine through. So with the new year approaching, I can't say enough about like having a few little refreshing things in your, in your arsenal, but matte sticker paper, clear sticker paper, if you have a decent printer, these are great things to have. They save you a lot of time in not having to glue stick things down. Just saying. If you're doing a lot of crafting, matte sticker paper and clear is like gravy. It honestly is. It's like a little gravy item. It's not a have to have, but it is nice to have, especially if you have a lot of digital designs. Clear is great for things like florals. It's great for honeys. It can be really, really great for words, like word treatments, because then you can put like a word over on top of a collage and it just becomes that pop. Clear is great for like doodles, paint splatters, those kinds of things if you buy digital artwork. So think about it. This, as we head into 2026, this could be like a good time for you to kind of up your game a bit if you are, want to become a bit more dedicated in your crafting. One thing that I was trying to do was I can't seem to make my little Dymo label, my little, what's it called? A label Buddy Junior or something like that, the little classic one. It seems to be broken. So I went to get another one. And apparently the new ones, which I bought a new one, they do not work nearly as good as the classics. I got to be honest with you. I was super unimpressed, and it did not press into the tape as good. It was meh. It was awful. I'm returning mine. I gave it a try. It was the squeezy kind instead of the pressed down like I was using. So, and people said that too in the reviews. They said that the ones they made back in the 70s and 80s were much better. And I agree. So I was disappointed, but I believe my dad, one of the things I inherited from him was he had a Dymo label maker. Like, it's a long one. So I think it's the kind that you press down, and it came with tapes, and it was in a case, and he had written his last name on it, because that's what my dad did. He would always write his last name on all of his office supplies. And I believe that is in our storage. I don't know which storage, but I believe it is in one of them, because my mom gave it to me when we were first going through his things. So I'm holding out hope that I'm going to find it, and then I will have that. But yes, I'm already missing that tape. That's really one of my staple things I use in my crafting. So this could be a good time for you to do a little assessment about your crafting staples. Like, what new fun thing do I want to add into my mix? What fun little technique do I want to throw in there, or a new tool I want to add? Like, this could be a good time to do that. All right, let's jump in to some questions. I did a lot of chit chatting. I don't even know what time it is. Okay, so let's do some questions. Let me add. I feel like my little lips are getting a little dry, a little parched. Hi, Miss Justine. I see your little face. Good to see you, even if you are just a quick little stopover. Okay, so I got some questions, Christmas questions. Okay, so what Christmas movies have you guys watched so far? Have you guys met your Christmas movie threshold? What's the movie that you just couldn't live without seeing this season, and you've made that happen? What's the Christmas movies that you've watched? Okay, so Amy says Christmas Vacation. I saw part of that movie. I didn't see the entire thing, but I saw part. Oh yeah, Kelly, thank you for reminding me of the button machine. Me and Mark looked up that button machine, because at first I was like, maybe I should just donate that. But then we looked up on eBay how much we paid for it, because that's where I bought it, was eBay. Oh my Lanta, I can't believe how much money those button machines are. And I bought 2 button machines, plus all the little, the button backs and the little covers. And I bought the punch. There's a special punch that cuts the paper that you put, over it. And so it was a lot. I can't believe it. I will not be donating those button machines. I'm going to go into the button making business. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm not even joking. I might have to do that because I did not realize that they're an investment. At least the really nice ones that I got. They're definitely not the badge a minute. Do you guys remember the badge a minute that was advertised in the back of 17 magazine? The magazines that we had as kids, they always had like one of those badge makers in the back of it. These are like professional grade, I think. They were expensive. So thank you, Kelly. Okay, Amy says Christmas vacation. Let me see if I wrote your name down. Not that I don't love your YouTube name, because they call me the queen. That is a royal name right there. The Grinch That Stole Christmas, the Jim Carrey version. And I may have already been saying this, so I apologize. Amy says, and Rudolph. Rebecca says, A White Christmas. Chris says, none yet. He hasn't gotten to it. Kelly says, Home Alone. Justine says that she's pet sitting, so she hasn't gotten to the... She hasn't gotten, because she doesn't have the Hallmark Channel where she is. Man. Carrie says, Elf. Robin says, I need to see Elf. I think that's on the agenda for tonight. We already watched the Santa Claus movie. Miss Craft Social Kelly. Kelly, I'm so happy to see your little face. It's been a long time since we've seen you. Good to see your face. She says, we saw the Jim Carrey Grinch in the theater last Friday. It was awesome. I gotta be honest with you. I don't know that I've seen that movie. I don't think I have. Okay, let's see. Miss Lisa Scrooge with the Albert Finney one. Spirited. Cheesy Christmas movies, Dear Santa, and Cinderella Christmas. I have not heard of the last two you said. Shelley says The Christmas Card. I haven't heard of that one either. Elf was a fave, but I'd love to find some more good ones. Michelle says 2 on Lifetime. Still need to see White Christmas and Home Alone and Die Hard. For the record, now I know why I was saying that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. It's because that's how it's positioned on Hulu and one of the other streaming channels, Hulu. So Hulu does something really cute. So they're Huluween at Halloween time, and they're Hulu days for holidays, which I think is really cute. That's good marketing. They put Die Hard on there as a Christmas movie, so it wasn't my imagination. For the record, this was part of our conversation last LNCC. So, and Michelle is supporting me in this because she just listed it. So there. Let's see. Margie says, I love Four Christmases. I have not seen that one. That's the Reese Witherspoon and Vince Vaughn movie. It has just about replaced Elf for me. Have you guys watched Christmas with the Cranks? Anybody? I don't know what happens. A lot of these newer Christmas movies, I've put them on, but then I don't feel like I've watched them. Like, I don't feel like I remember them or something. I put that one on, but I don't remember like what happened. Did I finish it? I don't know if I should not watch these movies in midlife. I think you should watch them when you're younger, because I feel like I don't remember a lot of it. Yeah, I think I'm probably past midlife at this point. Carrie says, Christmas Vacation. We watched the Muppets Christmas. You just reminded me. I need to find Emmett Otter. Put Emmett Otter's Christmas Jug Band. Emmett Otter's Jug Band. That's what it is. Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. Put that on your list. If you're looking for a Christmas movie, that is such a sweet, sweet movie. I believe in the past, in the membership, I was able to link that movie. I believe it was a free movie on YouTube one year. If I'm misremembering it, I was at least recommending it at the minimum. That movie is one that me and my mom and my brother watched when we were kids. It is so, so adorable. and it's like a gift of the Magi kind of storyline, and it's one of Jim Henson's best creations. I don't think any of his other movies are as cute. It is the most precious, cozy, like the little animals in it are so adorable. This is all my opinion, so if you absolutely hate it, don't come for me. Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. It has music in it. Okay, so Mark pulled it up. It's on YouTube. Is it free? It's free with ads this year. So I believe it has been free in the past, but this time it's free with ads. It's 52 minutes. I think we can handle ads. We did it as children. That's what Mark and I were telling each other the other night. We've been watching, I don't know what channel platform it is, but I think it's Peacock, but we have it with ads. And we've been, I can't remember what show we were watching. It was Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And I think there was an ad or something in it. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, you know, when you get used to not having to watch ads anymore, it's really rough when you get one. But I was like, wait, this is how we had to watch TV for years. Like, toughen up. It's not that hard. It's not that bad. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. Oh, Lisa. Okay. I'm so happy to see your little face. Miss Lisa. Well, thank you for joining me. Okay, I'm going to add you to my list. When you come back, I will remember. I'll have my little list, and it's a good list. It's not a naughty list. It's my friends. That's a very audacious name, by the way. They call me the Queen. Okay. Let's see. Margie says she's ready to binge some Christmas movies this weekend. Carrie says Die Hard. See, she's in Die Hard mode too. Kelly says, I'm sure I know every line of that Grinch movie. Oh my, that's seriously, that's saying that you've watched it that many times. Oh my. I feel like that's how a lot of people feel about Elf. I have watched Elf once. So I don't have, I know one line from that, and that's only because Mark says it all the time. You smell like beef and cheese. That's because he says it. And that's not because I remember it from the movie. And I saw Georgia. Hello, Miss Georgia. Patricia says A Christmas Carol. Okay, you're Miss Bethany. Robin says Scrooge with Bill Murray. Oh, Justine says The Christmas Card was filmed in my hometown. Justine says her pastor watches Die Hard every Christmas Eve. I don't know why I think that's so funny. Part of it's because part of it is because imagining that that's on a pastor's watch list. like that's just not the movie I picture. Pastor watching on Christmas Eve. But I love that. Kind of shows a sense of humor there, I guess. But yeah, that's I guess that's a man's version of a Christmas. That's a Christmas movie that a lot of men could probably tolerate. I guess I just have not seen it in so long. I probably don't even remember how it goes or what it's like. Okay, so you guys are familiar with Christmas with the Cranks. Some of you are. Oh, Margaret says it's her fave. Crystal says The Family Stone. I have seen that before. That's a Christmas movie. Yes, Margaret says tiny puppets, tiny sweaters, magic. That's definitely Emmett Otter. Tiny puppets, tiny sweaters. Agreed. Little scarves and like the little otters. They're so chubby, little chubby cheeks. Oh my Lanta. Oh, nice. Okay. All right. Put it on your watch list, everybody. I'm telling you. I remember watching it as a kid and I was just, oh, les sigh. It is my romper room list. That's what I need to do. When I get my Dymo label maker, I'm going to put a little label on it. It's my little romper room list. We Are the Andersons. Let's see. Recently watched Staycation. We Are the Andersons went little nuts on the Hallmark Channel. I can't do the Hallmark Channel. I think there's 2 movies from the Hallmark Channel that I've loved. And one of them is The Magic of Ordinary Days. That's one of them. And I am forgetting the other. But I just, like the whole gamut of the Christmas genre. Was this, it's the Love Comes Softly. That's the other one. I think that's part of the Hallmark family, but I could be wrong. Maybe that doesn't fit into that. Correct me if I'm wrong. You guys often have answers. But oh boy, do I love those 2 movies. I could watch those over and over again. They're both of them are very similar in how, if even you think about it, it's kind of like the woman like they don't love each other. It's kind of like a marriage of convenience, and then it's like the slow like each other kind of thing. I think a lot of people really like those concepts. I kind of just like the 2 stories were very interesting. There you go, Chris. You just love the digi thing. The DigiCrafter. I love that you're the hybrid thing. Like you'd like to do the little bit of the digital, a little bit of the analog. There you go. Mark says she sits on a throne of lies. Okay, you guys are kind of like I'm getting some support for this 4 Christmases, and Vince Vaughn is a funny actor. He does have really good delivery. So you are kind of making me lean into maybe I should watch it. I keep seeing it up there on the screen, so maybe I should watch it. Linda has given me another prompt in that direction. Miss Bonnie, hello Miss Bonnie. She says just started watching my Christmas movies and Die Hard is on the list. Margaret says, how can a movie called Die Hard be a Christmas movie? Someone please explain. Allow me to explain, Margaret. It's because the opening of the movie at the Nagasaki building is set at a Christmas party. That is the claim to fame it being a Christmas movie. It is because it is set at an office Christmas party. The company is celebrating their Christmas event, and it is a really big deal. Okay, so this company they're a big deal, and Bruce Willis is flying in. He is meeting up with his ex-wife, soon to be ex-wife, something like that. A little bit of a bitter story there. And in the meantime, there is a bunch of bad dudes who are there because this company hosting the Christmas party, they have something the bad guys want. So the bad guys show up, they create all kinds of havoc. And Bruce Willis, who is he a New York City cop? He is there single-handedly to duke it out with all of them by kind of like being sneaky and all throughout. And because it's at a Christmas party that all of this goes down at, that is how it gets to plant its Christmas movie flag. And men all over America are so happy that they get a Christmas movie on that list. So they don't have to watch all the kissy movies on Hallmark. So yeah. Jingle All the Way is another one. Oh, Lorelei, Candy Cane Lane with Eddie Murphy. We were in that hotel room in Thanksgiving, and that movie was on TV. I know that movie. We watched part of it. I watched part of it. That did look cute. I haven't seen Eddie Murphy in a movie in a long, long time. And so that was my first time seeing him in forever. And then it was like a Christmas movie. So, but I did see part of that. Anna, yes. Hit replay so you can see the book. Absolutely. Oh, Margie says Tim McGraw has a side part in The Four Christmases. Lisa, agreed. Nightmare Before Christmas. Yes, I think I agree with that one. I think that's a good Christmas. The idea of that one is just really good. Plus, Danny Elfman he's brilliant with the lyrics, the music, his singing. It is kind of a touching movie too. So yeah, I'm going to add that one. So last night we watched Santa Claus is Coming to Town. That's a classic. That one is my favorite one of all of the. What is the name of that? What's the name of that? The creator of those type of you know what I'm talking about? The Rudolph, Santa Claus Coming Down, Smoke, Frosty the Snowman. I forget the name of the Russ. It's Russ something created all those, like they're the little, is it stop motion animation? It's like little puppety kind of characters. I actually did Wikipedia last year on this whole thing, and this type of film, what do you call that? It's not cinematography. The type of filming that they did with these little, I can't even think of the word, what I'm even trying to say. The studio was actually from Tokyo. And so it's so interesting. Russ, Rankin Bass. Thank you, Bethany. Oh my gosh. And thank you, Margaret. It's not Russ, but I was close. I can I give myself like a half a point, a quarter of a point, a third of a point? Yes, Rankin Bass. If you Wikipedia that, there's a really interesting history of that whole studio and how eventually the Tokyo got involved. That studio was doing stuff, and it kind of is like how the whole thing dissipated. It's kind of sad, actually. But yeah, there was like some beloved little films that came out of that studio that we all grew up with. This was our little genre of movies that we watched as when we were growing up, and I loved them. So Santa Claus is Coming to Town was we watched that, and I had this huge epiphany when I was watching it. Now, I know this is like not going to connect for a lot of people because you would have had to have heard this a million times. If you had this record or listened to this record, this is only going to matter to you. Because I listened to this recently, this is the only reason why this connected. We were listening to the Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and it has to do with Chris, right? Chris Claus. And he's the young version of Santa Claus. He's still got his red hair, and he goes to the Burgermeister's town, and he meets the young school teacher, who is also a little red-haired lady. I forget her name now. Tanta? I think her name is Tanta. She's really pretty. That's the grandma. That's the grandma? Okay. Do you remember the school teacher's name? No. Can't remember her name, but he marries her. It becomes Mrs. Santa. I just can't think of what her name is in the show. But she's talking to him. They're talking. And all of a sudden, her voice just clicks for me in my brain. And all of a sudden, I can hear this voice say, Mike, let's get out of here. It's the same woman. They're the same little voice actors. The two, this voice actress who is with Ron Howard when he was a teenager, they recorded this together. She's the same actress that did that. And she's the same actress. She went on to do things like Bianca. She played the little singing voice for Bianca on The Rescuers. And she was in The Aristocrats. So apparently she did a bunch of recording for Disney. But it's so funny how you could hear someone talk and all of a sudden it just snapped in there. Years and years and years of listening to that, and never ever once my little kid self just put that little puzzle piece into the puzzle. I had an epiphany. So I was like, well, good thing there's an LNCC tomorrow because I'm going to tell my friends. Not that you guys care. Not that you care. But I had some serious telling tension and I had to tell somebody. So, but I've been on a roll lately, you guys. Do you guys ever do that where you have been like can nail an actor? Like, I remember that actor. I watched a show the other day where this actor, he was on the screen for, I don't know, a minute, but I could see this actor. He's probably 35 in the show, but I recognized him from when he was in a movie from like 20 years, 25 years before, like when he was a kid. I just got it. I just saw his little kid face in his little older face. I've been nailing people's voices. I've been nailing their older selves with their younger selves. I've been on a roll lately. So I just wonder why these brain cells can't show up when I'm just trying to find the simplest words. Why am I getting these obscure memories, but not when I really need a simple word to come to come here? Miss Jessica, thank you. Miss Bethany, always to my rescue. I thought it was going to be a complicated name. All right. Oh, Russ is a line of stuffed animals. That's right. That is right. I remember that now. Oh, you know, when you say that, did they have like a little heart as their logo? They had a little, I think I even had some of those. Now that you say that, oh my goodness, memories. Mark is making some stickers for stickers for us, and he has been looking through Pinterest and finding all of this stuff, like Gen X stuff, boomer stuff, all this stuff from the 60s and the 70s, toys, like all kinds of random things. So he has just been going down memory lane, and he's been showing me candy and all toys. Do you remember this? Do you remember this? He's been living his best life lately. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Oh, they did have a heart. Okay, I thought, see, that brain cell showed up. He clocked in. Oh, that's funny. Okay, let's get on. That was just question what? Okay, I even made a note to self. Voice from the Haunted Mansion. I'm telling you, that is the one line I remember from this so well. Is Mike, let's get out of here. Yeah, if you this really is such a fun little record. It's reminiscent if you've ever been on the Disneyland ride. So it does follow that it follows the way that you get on the ride and how there's the narrator that takes you through the ride. So it's similar, but it's also, in this version, it's storytelling. Ron Howard is on a date with this girl and they've run into the house because it was raining and the car stalled that they were in. And so now they're dealing with the same thing you would be dealing with if you went into the house and went through the ride. So it's kind of, they kind of dovetail with each other. And it's just, I wish I could tell you how many times I listened to this as a child. This was my favorite record. And I had all the Disney records. I had Cinderella, I had Sleeping Beauty, I had Bambi, which was really sad. It would make me really sad listening to that horrible scene. But this one, I just loved it. Loved it so much. So yeah, that was really funny. I even leapt out of the bed. Oh my gosh. I solved the great mystery. Yeah, you guys, this is not an act. I am like this silly in my real life. This is it. These are my moments. See, this is the stuff that I need to have a book to record. Last night, I had an epiphany. The great epiphany. It's a Nancy Drew moment. That's what I will be recording. That's why I just had to have this book so that I could record these moments. Okay, are you wrapping gifts Or are you still just thinking about it? Are you in gift wrap mode? How many of you guys are done with your gift wrapping? I know some of you are going to tell me that you are not even finished with shopping, because that would be pretty understandable, because it is the 19th. You know, you still have shopping days. Bonnie, that was the other movie I watched. So I watched Santa Claus is Coming to Town and Charlie Brown. That was on my thing. I just forgot to say it because I got so caught up in my story. Yeah, Charlie Brown was the other one. And I haven't seen it in years. And I had kind of forgotten the storyline. I was kind of surprised how short a story it actually is. Okay. So I have a Carrie says almost. Rebecca says not doing gifts. Crystal says yes. Michelle says not finished with anything. Kelly says 20% wrapped. Shelly says I'm crafting labels for homemade gifts using Cricut. Bonnie says I'm currently in gift wrapping mode, not finished yet. Oh my goodness. Robin says we spent all week wrapping gifts for 240 plus kiddos for our church outreach. Wow. Each kiddo had a trash bag full of gifts. That is awesome, Robin. I have everything corralled and ready to wrap in my den, Miss Margaret says. Lee says almost done. I only have shopping still to do for my son-in-law. Kelly says I am done. Kelly, do they have malls in Belgium? Like a shopping mall that you can go in and there's all kinds of stores? Or do you like go to little mom and pop, like that's what we call them here, little mom and pop stores? I'm trying to imagine where you are. Are you like in a big city with a mall? Michelle says Charlie Brown is having a 60th anniversary. Oh my. Chris says, shopping new. I forgot something. Otherwise, not in wrap mode. Oops. Well, we won't tell Janice. We'll keep that secret for you. I have 2 gifts to wrap, then I'm done, Margie says. Melanie says, I don't shop for gifts. I send money to kids and they shop for their families. I love it because I don't like to shop. That's smart, Miss Melanie. Lisa says, I got most of my gifts, but I still need to wrap them. I had to hide some of them. Janice says, I haven't even started yet. Well, then you guys are on the same page. Jen says, I watched Charlie Brown on Apple TV for free. I'd forgotten half of the story too. That's where I watched it for free. So I was thinking that, because I was surprised that I was able to watch it. I was like, why are the other ones you have to pay and not that one? I missed the Great Pumpkin. I missed that free weekend that they showed it. So I must have caught the Christmas one, luckily. I really wanted to see that. Mary Allen says, I'm not finished shopping, wrapping, getting decorating, but it's okay. I keep telling myself, it's okay. It's all okay. It's all okay. Everything's fine. Amy says, I've got to wrap, but I may commandeer my husband to do so. I agree. I support you completely in that. That sounds like a good hubby job. How do husbands get off the hook with that? Because I never saw my dad. I don't know that my dad ever wrapped any gifts. I don't know. Do husbands get off the hook for that? Does that end up being a mom job? Bethany says she's done. Kelly says, nope, there's no malls. Jen says, I've been shopping, pulling things together, wrapping later. Crystal says, I'm doing my holiday cards this weekend. I totally forgot to do them this year. Miss Dawn says, I have barely started. Tomorrow is the day. Wrapping is done. I usually like to wrap mine while watching Christmas carols when they put them on TV. Kelly says, they always look so cool in movies, meaning malls. Kelly is in Belgium. Then we got one, but nobody went there. So it was away after a couple of months. That's what I was wondering. If, when I think I was just curious, being in Europe, how many European countries have things like malls? I think the kind of mall I'm thinking of obviously is very much an American construct, because even our malls, a lot of our malls are going away. Some malls are thriving depending on the type of mall they are. Like in California, a lot of the outdoor malls are doing well because of how they've been sort of reimagined. But then there's a lot of the indoor type that are totally becoming, obsolete. They've been becoming obsolete for a long time. So they used to be a huge deal. Like a lot of us, our age, those of us in our 40s and 50s, that used to be where we would hang out as teenagers. It was like a little mega center. Actually, in the state of Minnesota, where Kelly and Melanie live, that is the country's largest mall. It is that mall, the Great Mall of America. Am I saying it right, girls? Great Mall of America. That mall is like a small country. It is enormous. Kelly and Melanie, have you guys been to the Great Mall? I don't assume you've been there. That maybe nobody should assume it, but I would be wondering. Maybe use mall wrappers, not Mr. Bean if I'm in a rush. Mr. Bean. Malls are not that great. Great. Mall wrapper. What's a mall wrapper? Mega Mall in Minneapolis is doing well because of the amusement park. The malls here in Dallas are packed these days. Dallas is growing so much. So many more people here, Bonnie says. Melanie says, yes, been there. It's overwhelming. Kelly says, we go a couple times a year. It has amusement park inside. I've wanted to go to that mall. Crystal says, I wanted to go to that mall too at one point. Cause it has an amusement park inside. The things I've seen of that mall, like what it has, just to the experience of it, even though I'm not a mall person, I would just be like, that would be an experience. That would be amazing to be in something. Imagine being in something constructed of that size, a mall of that size, like how they built it. I would just think that'd be incredible. Just the architecture alone. But the people, for an introvert, oh my, I don't know. You would probably need like 2 weeks to recover from it. Miss Darling says, I love wrapping gifts and I love giving gifts. I love seeing all the different ideas that people have for wrapping gifts, especially gifts of odd shapes and sizes. I agree. I have a Pinterest board of gift wrapping, and I even have it like in different sections, like everyday wrapping, Christmas, birthday. Like I even have it organized into categories. And there was a blogger that I think this was her thing. I cannot remember how she categorized hers. It was like, okay, excuse me, but it was like wrap this crap or something like that. She had a large family and she was very much on a budget. She was like a stay-at-home kind of mom. And so her wrapping was amazing because she was using so many things from like what she found in her house, from cereal boxes to cutting up like trash. Like that's why she called it crap, because it was like stuff that she was just finding. I never saw such creativity, how she would make things look so cool. And it was all from found things in her kitchen and in her packet. Do you guys know who I'm talking about? Do you remember that from years ago? I saved a lot of her ideas on my Pinterest board. Maybe it was Wrap This Crap, something like that. If you were to Google it, you'd probably find her blog. I think her blog was up for many, many years. Anyway, I absolutely loved her blog. I would always be looking at her ideas because she would, she was always showing like how to paint used furniture and stuff like that. So she was just like my mentor wrapping, because I had never seen anyone be so creative wrapping stuff that way, like not trying to avoid buying things. That's like a whole other level. Hello, Mrs. Spencer. It is so good to see you. Okay. Kelly says it's the mall is really nice and clean and pretty, lots of unique and specialized stores. Melanie says the restaurants are on the 3rd floor. IKEA is across the street. That's where I go first. Yes, IKEA. IKEA's IKEA is wonderful. I love IKEA. I think there's certain types of things IKEA is totally worth buying stuff at. There's even certain types of furniture that's worth buying stuff there. Not all things, but some things. There's some pieces of furniture they do really, really well for the price point, I think is worth getting. Okay, let's go on to our next question. What is your go-to holiday survival snack right now? What's your holiday survival? Okay, that's kind of dramatic. How about your favorite holiday snack right now? What's your holiday thing, the little snack that you love at this time of the year? Maybe you only buy it at this time of the year or make it this time of the year, so it's just like your thing. Lorelai, this. I've made a million Muddy Buddies. I have made pounds and pounds of Muddy Buddies. When that recipe first came out, that was my go-to. I would buy those tins from like the cheap store, and that's what I would make people for gifts because I was always on a budget as a single mommy, and I would make Muddy Buddies. Some years it was marshmallow Rice Krispies. Like I would make them super thick. I would make big bars like that of marshmallow Krispies. I made Muddy Buddies. Sometimes I made homemade ornaments. I've always liked making homemade things, but there's a recipe for cranberry hootie creeks on allrecipes.com. I would make those. I loved making cookies. Mrs. Sig's snickerdoodles on all recipes. That's an excellent snickerdoodle cookie recipe. Muddy Buddies, Miss Amy, it's rice checks. So I do a mixture of rice and corn checks. I mean, you can use corn. I feel like corn is a little stronger than rice personally, but it's Chex cereal, and you melt some butter and chocolate chips and peanut butter, and you make a batter out of that, and you toss the cereal in it till it's all coated. And then because I make so much of it at once, I dump all my powdered sugar like in a garbage bag, and then dump all of the chocolate coated cereal in it, and then shake it all up. So it's completely coated. So it's like a chocolate peanut butter rice Chex covered in powdered sugar. Now you can buy Muddy Buddies. They're commercially made now. Chex started making them. So if you go to a gas station, a lot of times they might sell them in the snack section. In fact, I just bought some on our road trip recently. So you could try them that way. But they make the recipe on the Chex box, especially at this time of the year. They're on there. But they are amazing, and people will gobble them up. They're a wonderful, wonderful, easy thing. They don't take any. They're really easy to make. But because I would make such huge batches of them, I found that making them in a trash bag was the easiest way to do it. So, and they even have like different flavors now. They have like a cookies and cream flavor. They have a mint chocolate flavor. So they got a little fancy once people started buying them. So, Margaret says that sounds like Monkey Munch. Well, that sounds cute. Monkey Munch. Lisa says gingerbread cookies. Recently, our local supermarket has brought out a gingerbread cheesecake. Yum. That sounds like a gingerbread base. Chris says, I don't bake much. Most I can do is microwave Rice Krispie squares. Well, get going. Janice would like Rice Krispie squares. Crystal says, I used to make popcorn balls and so many cookies for Christmas. Popcorn balls. I think that sounds yummy. Kelly says, honey, mini Okay, so I don't know how to pronounce this. I know that I know what they are. I just don't know how to say them. Petite fours. Do you just say it that way, like how it looks, or is there a way of saying it? Robin says, I just saw a recipe for Muddy Buddy bark. It's less messy. Interesting. I'll have to look that up. What about all those dips out there? Oh my goodness, there are just so many goodies. I like the holiday flavored poppy drinks too. There are a lot of dips. Dips, yes. Do you guys remember when the hot artichoke dip first came out? I remember the year my mom started making that, like that recipe just rolled out. And the other one was the hot artichoke dip. You know what? I think I'm saying it wrong. The hot artichoke dip, which is chopped up artichoke and Parmesan cheese and mayo, and I think those are the primary ingredients. And then another year, the hot, the trendy dip was the spinach dip. It was like a cold dip. And my mom put water chestnuts in hers, and it had dip, and it had the Knox vegetable dip powder that you put in it, and it had sour cream and something else. That was a year. Like, I feel like the late 80s had all these like yummy dips that started coming out. Like that was the beginning of a lot of trends. And then restaurants started serving those in for appetizers. So it is pronounced Petifor. Thank you, Michelle, because I knew that could not be how to say it. Okay. We always, oh, yes, Michelle, puppy chow. That is what I've heard that too. That's what they were called. I actually wonder if the first time I made them, the recipe I saw for them was called puppy chow. Now that you're saying it, I wonder if that's. There used to be a magazine called Family Fun that Disney put out, and I loved this magazine. This was before Pinterest, so this was as close to Pinterest as you could get, because it was like parents submitting their recipes and their ideas. And this is the first time I ever saw people like dip the pretzel rods into the white chocolate and like sprinkle little, sugars on them. So it was before Pinterest. So this gave me all these ideas for doing like parties and little fun things. And I want to say that is where I saw puppy chow. And then came Muddy Buddies. You've given me something to ponder. Let me see if that brain cell shows up. Kelly says peanut butter balls. I think they might be called Buckeyes. Mark makes those. That is Mark's little specialty. He has some out in the refrigerator chilling like little villains. And those are so good, Miss Kelly. Oh, my goodness. Kelly says that she grew up calling it puppy chow too. Okay, thank you, Amy. She said she didn't know how to pronounce it either. Petifor. It almost sounds like Kittenbridge is the, what did I say? The, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the beginning of that. Uh-oh, I hear coyotes. I haven't heard the coyotes in a while, and they're out there. They're down at the end of the road. Kittenfur to make kitten. Can you hear that? I wonder if you guys can hear that. Can you hear that at all? Crystal says, yes, I missed that magazine. Wasn't that the best magazine? Oh man, I loved that magazine. Margaret says Family Fun was such a treasure. It really was. I really think that Pinterest probably did it in, because I really feel like that was its purpose, was to be what Pinterest ended up being, like for moms and for, like giving you all those ideas. If I didn't have that, I would not nearly have been able to pull off the things that I did do for my daughter. Oh, Kelly says that we say it different, but it's close. So Kelly, I'm going to venture to say you probably say it accurately, given that you're Belgium, that you're Belgium. Is that saying it? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Are you Belgium? Why does my brain want to say that you're Belgist? Because that's not accurate. I don't think a person is Belgist. You're Belgium. Okay, some Belgian. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. All right. I'm just going to say this, you guys. I had a conversation with my doctor today about estrogen and hormones and brain fog. You fill in the gaps. And I told her that, I do public live streaming and there's a lot of embarrassment that I face every time because I cannot remember things. I have a lot of holes in my memory. I can't remember words. Things don't sound right. And I'm like, do I need to have more medication? Is there anything else you can do for me? Oh, I'm just going to give her a copy of this, okay? This will just help her with her diagnosis so much faster. Oh my gosh. All right. This is why the YearBook was invented. Tonight, I believed that the term was Belgist and not Belgian. That brain cell, not only did it not show up, it apparently left. It wasn't even here. It had quit long ago. Oh, my Lanta. All right. It is 2025. I don't know what 2030 is going to look like. I don't know what's going to be coming out of my mouth. I am not sure what the future will be bringing us. Okay, I'm going to start needing you guys to sign agreements that you won't sue me. You won't sue me, that you are unoffendable. I need to put a disclosure statement up. I cannot be held responsible. Oh my goodness. I just right, Michelle. I know. I might need them. Oh goodness. Okay. Oh, okay. You could hear the coyotes. All right, good to know. They were pretty loud. I was thinking maybe you could, because the microphone's right here, and yeah. Sometimes they sound lonely, and there'll be one of them out there and he's just howling very lonely. But that didn't sound lonely. That sounded like, yeah, what you're saying. Maybe they're a little we're about to eat dinner. So, Amy says, I'll be going on Manjaro in early January. I'll enjoy everything while I can this season. Yes, enjoy it. Enjoy it now. Have you, Amy, have you been on it before? Because you seem to be aware that it won't be the same. Oh, I got you. It's not that you could hear him. It's just that you're commenting on the fact. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah. Let me see here. I will work on my truck lid. Yes. Bethany says Pinterest has changed so much. I get 90% advertising and 10% AI modified content. I agree, Bethany. I cannot believe how much, like, when you see recipes now, I can't believe how much of it is AI. Like, and one thing AI does really weird is make food pictures. Um, it's some of it's a little disturbing, actually. Honestly, some of the food that it constructs is like it's disturbing. Yeah, it is different on there now. You can't like there's not there'll be a picture of food, but it doesn't actually take you to a recipe or something. And then the pictures don't actually match the ingredients that are listed. It's kind of funny. So I am always looking for like real people and real recipes. um yes, Jan, agreed. you you're not alone. Yes, you're not the only one wandering. You're not alone. Um, Amy says I'm very nervous about the whole Manjaro thing, but it'll kill a lot of birds with one stone. Um, so I am a fellow Manjarian, and I've been taking it since June. So I agree with you that you should enjoy your food, enjoy it, celebrate, because it definitely won't be the same. It will it will not. But you are correct. It does tackle a lot of issues at once. So there's that. And so there's definitely a lot of positives that come from it for sure. One thing I can tell you, one really big positive that I have discovered is that when I went to have my A1C checked after having been on it for like a full 3 months, my A1C number was as like it was so low, it was like I didn't even have diabetes. The it was lower than what even somebody who's like a normal it was I was lower than the lowest of the like a normal, like was down there. So it was that was shocking. That was shocking. So yeah, so right there. Like wow. Wow. So that's a lot to be said for it. That, you know, imagine what that can do for a lot of people, that their life would end earlier. You know, that's gonna help a lot of people. So that they wouldn't have a longer life because of it. So it does make you look at food a lot different, for sure. You're not eating like you used to, for sure. So it is very weird. It's a weird experience. Okay. One of the questions I thought, and I had to ask this question because I'm not quite sure, like when we say underrated, I always question because I hear that word used a lot. I'm like, what does the word underrated mean? So it's like, so things can be really super popular, you know, like everyone wants this hot toy, but then like what's an underrated toy? So like something that maybe didn't seem like a really hype thing that every kid wanted, but like it was a toy that you really like loved, even though maybe it wasn't like a really cool thing. So what was the most underrated Christmas gift you ever got as a kid? So it could have been like something that was in your stocking. It could have just been, maybe it just wasn't like that really the hot trendy thing that everyone else wanted, but you just were so thrilled with it when you got this thing. And it could have been, you know, just a really ordinary thing, but you were just thrilled. What was the most underrated Christmas gift you ever got as a kid? Good night, Margie. Amy said it was called the Brain, and I almost bought it on eBay recently. $50. Um, Dawn says, walking Sesame Street letters and set. It was hard to explain. So, Why do I feel like I can picture what you just said, Dawn? So they were, it was a set of alphabet letters and they had like little feet. Is that what you're saying? I don't know why that, I feel like I can see that in my mind. I'm not disbelieving this. Like, I feel like I can picture that. Why can I picture that? Oh, see, maybe I feel like why do I feel like I know exactly what you're talking about. Were they on, were they something that you saw on their show? Is that like they made them based on like the little characters they had on their show? Oh, look, they have them on here. Yeah, I'm looking right at them. They have got little feet. That's so cool. And they're in stock. They could be yours. You just need to go to eBay. Um, yeah, they have them. And the person, like, there's a bunch of pictures on Google, and it even has the box and everything for them. It's amazing, amazing to me what people still have and are showing for sale. Like, one of the things I got, which is I was going to mention, is this really, really cool stencil book. I'm going to show it to you, and maybe you got one too. Um, and I am going to buy it. I found it on eBay. Nobody buy it. Um, it's called, I'm going to have to hold up my phone. Okay. Perhaps I shouldn't put a generic. It was called School Tools Stencil Book. It looked like, oh, I guess Mark can show you if he can share that screen. There it is. Did any of you have this? I got that for Christmas one year. I loved this book. I loved it. I made so many letters on things. It has hexes, it has rhombus diamonds, it has circles, it has a set, like a page that has like all these little laboratory tools. See, Crystal says, "Oh my gosh, I used to love that." I knew. Janice says, "I had those." That's a cool gift. I never saw that book before. So it's a little spiral bound book, and each tab shows you a different shape that it had on there. I think that was, oh, look, see, those are different shapes too. But what's really was really cool was like it had a whole page of all different size circles, all different size ovals, all different size. I don't know what that shape is. This shape. Rectangles, squares. So it was really, really handy if you were making like little pictures or little, which I was. And I was always using the letters. So it was like really simple to like draw out letters with it. I absolutely loved it. That was one of my Christmas gifts. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think I got it the year that I got my Crayola Craft Caddy, which was another toy that I just loved. There was one Christmas as a kid that I got a lot of craft things, like a lot of artsy things. My parents got me those, and there was like some other things, but my grandma got me like how to draw. She got me some art books and some pencils, like really nice colored pencils. So I got one of my Christmases was pretty artsy and craftsy. So that was really cool. But anyway, there's That's a book I had as a kid, and there's like, I don't know, at least a dozen of those on eBay. So I'm like, how? How? How are those still available, intact, and on eBay? That's something like, that's what, gotta be, how old am I? That's more than 40 years old, okay? 45 years old. I was like 10-ish, 10, 11, somewhere in there when I had it. Now, that one, the one I'm looking at on my phone is listed at 95. That's crazy. There's people that have way, 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 way lower expectations. I saw people that were selling it for like $15, $10, you know, like somewhere in there. Something realistic. I don't know what people are thinking when they're selling it for 95. That's ridiculous. Mrs. Spencer says, did you have any of the stencil set from Tupperware? I don't think so. I don't know that I saw that one because it's not ringing a bell. Lisa says, I had a book called this lettering book and I loved it and used it so much. Aw, Crystal says, I've forgotten about that. Isn't that funny when you're reminded, like you see something that you had and you're like, oh, it gave me all the feels when I saw it. Mark showed it to me, and it's because it's on my Pinterest board, which is why I love having a Pinterest board of all of my childhood memories, because it just, I love it. It makes me feel so good looking at all my stuff. It's like seeing my whole toy cabinet. If you can't have all the toys you had as a kid, at least you can open up your little toy chest and see them all, see all the images. It's a really good feeling to go visit Pinterest sometimes and gather up all of the things you had as a kid. You know, it gives you such a little warm and fuzzy feeling. Right, Robin? You guys leave one of the stencil books for me. Yeah, Amy. Yeah, it is. So Manjaro and those two GLP ones, they definitely take some getting used to for sure. They are a big change. They change your relationship to food. It's a it's very different. And I will be happy. I can definitely talk to you in the clubhouse, and I can give you more detail about that, because it's there's stuff that I never read, like anyone talk about. I just saw probably the stuff that you saw, which like, here's all the cons, but no one ever talked about, I never saw anyone talk about the things that I think are way more important, or just, you know, just to be aware of. So yeah, I can totally tell you more about it so that you just know what to expect. Because it's just kind of like, oh wow, this is kind of this is different. Especially if you are a person who has loved food all your life and have like food is your thing, because it's been my thing since I was a little kid. So when it's not your thing anymore and it's changed significantly, it's not hard, but it's just different. And now it's like, I don't know what to do with food. I don't know. Nothing is the same. Food is different now. And now you have the opposite problem as you had before. So it is kind of weird. It's like a flip. You're on the other side of the spectrum. Now you're going to feel how people that are really, that are not food people, and they're probably more naturally thin. They're like, it's hard to like, oh, did I eat? I should probably eat something, which I've never been that person. Now we're that person. I can look at the clock at 3 and go, I haven't eaten today. I should probably eat something. So that's a weird thing. But yes. So it's not difficult. That's the thing. It's not difficult. It's the breakup that you're going to have. There's no hard feelings. You won't feel anything. You and food will just break up and you'll be like, ah. So, yes, Melanie, agreed. So you're saying like, I can't even imagine not thinking about food. And that's what's wild. I couldn't either. And I can't imagine it's such a weird world to live in where you don't think about food anymore. It's not seducing you. It's not calling you. I've literally had chocolate donuts, my drug of choice, stare me in the face, and I just walked away. They didn't pull me. They weren't grabbing me by the shirt. They had no power over me. It's the weirdest thing. It's like literally I should probably eat. It's when you're not feeling like even natural hunger to say, hey, you should probably eat, that to not even have that. That you have to set a reminder. That's something. It's the opposite world that you're in, and then to have to get used to that. So it's just a really strange thing. And it's like, well, what does sound good to me now? So it's a weird world. It's my doctor said it's like you have to treat yourself like a picky toddler. You have to trick yourself into adding like protein into things, try and figure out how to add things to get more nutrition. So what a strange, strange problem to have. All the things that, that I used to have no problem with. Now I'm like, no interest. So yeah, it's strange. Food has always been my bestie, my friend, my compatriot. But yeah, it's not like you can and could have certain things like, yeah, that sounds good, but it doesn't have a hold on you anymore. So like that's what's interesting. It knows its place. It understands its place, and you understand its place, and now you just don't know what to do with yourself. It's like, wow, I have a lot of time on my hands. Yes, Crystal says I still love to cook and eat food, and that's a thing. If you have no interest in eating, then there's no interest in cooking. Like there's no interest in it. So food becomes a thing. Like I just better get that nutrition in me. That's a weird dynamic. So some people that have really loved food and they love cooking, it's their love language. They love to serve people. When all of that, the food, the engine that causes you to love all that, if that engine kind of dies on you, that's the part where I'm saying I'm not sure, like, how do you deal with that? That's the part that's tricky. And so for people to be truly successful on this path, they need to employ a nutritionist. They need to go to counseling to understand, how do I work with food now? How do I have a good relationship with it so that I don't go back to the way it was? Because that's how people gain all their weight back when, so that's how it works. Good night, Miss Kelly. So, so that's the thing. Okay, so we talked about the holiday survival. I don't know why it says survival. I probably shouldn't have used such a serious word. Okay. What is your favorite little thing about the season that has nothing to do with gifts or stress? What's your favorite little thing about the season? I would, Melanie, to answer your question, yes. But Manjaro wouldn't be the one that they would recommend. Manjaro is designed for diabetes, so they would recommend a different one for people who are not diabetic. My favorite little thing about the season, that's a good question. I feel like I haven't been very seasony or Christmassy because the stage that we're in right now, I think things that set the season for me are decor. So setting up your Christmas scenery has a lot to do with you feeling like you're in the season. That's A. And doing activities, like Christmas activities, I think that definitely sets the stage too. And so I haven't gotten to do that stuff. So I think that it's not really felt that way. So what's my little thing about the season? The examples I have, I would say the little Christmas specials, like Charlie Brown and the ones that we grew up with. I think seeing those on TV, I think that brings back all the memories of like those being on every year. And don't you think that's really comforting that they're like such a staple, that they're always there, that whoever controls TV entertainment has not ripped those off the air? Because wouldn't that be sad if those weren't on TV anymore? When we were kids, that was the only way you could watch those, is once a year, and it came on one night, and that was it. And so if you missed it, that was it. Because when we were little kids, there was no VCRs, there was no way to tape it. So it was like, that's it. So you had to be home for that. And all of those shows, you know, they started airing them in the late 60s. So that's a pretty wide swath for, you know, our community here. So we were all kind of affected by those coming out. Now, I think some of you elder millennials, you youngest of the Gen Xers, I think that by the time you guys were kids, maybe you had more access probably to a VCR, let's say. But those are like classic things. And there's still something to this day. I still feel like there's something magical about watching the little awkward way that the little characters walk around. I just really love them. So I'm going to say those are the little things that I love, is those little nostalgic little shows that come on. They're just not the same as the Christmas movies, like the Christmas Vacation or the, you know, You'll Shoot Your Eye Out, the Christmas Story. It's not the same. Those are super special. Amy says, I love the Christmas tree when it's all done, the lights are out, and I just sit and bask. Yes, that is a special time. I can't wait to have a tree again and all my stuff out. Which I think Jen must have said, sitting in the dark with the tree lights on and enjoying the light shining on the walls and ceiling, just resting and enjoying. Miss Michelle said, sitting in the living room with all the lights turned off and just the Christmas tree lights on is my favorite thing. So three of you all had the same answer. And I will agree with you that is super wonderful. I can't wait. I told Mark that before the LNCC. I said next year we are going to have our Christmas stuff up. When October ends, the Christmas stuff goes up. And I'm going to have all my stuff out of those boxes, and I'm going to have 2 months of Christmas for all of the Christmases that I have missed. Not having a tree, not having my lights, not having my ornaments, all the things. And I'm going to make lots of ornaments. And you know what I think would be fun? I had so much fun making Christmas rocks. I'm going to make Christmas rocks, camp rocks. I had so much fun making camp rocks this summer. I think I want to make Christmas rocks. I don't think that's a thing, but I want to make it a thing. I think that would be fun. Just hear me out. There's a lot of people who have gardens and patios and, you know, things. And I think that's a really low stress kind of craft. And I think that would be really fun, especially if you had a little quote on it or a fun little thing. And, you know, I think people appreciate little tokens, little handmade things. And I think that could be really funny, especially if you put something that was really personal on it. But that, you know, I'm not saying this would be a great gift for everybody. I think there's some people that would not appreciate a rock. Like, you know, like there's some people that just wouldn't appreciate a rock. But some would. And I think that could be cute. I do. I really liked the rock painting that we did in camp. That was really fun. So I just saw him sitting there and I'm like, that's right. I was thinking about Christmas rocks. Let's start a thing, you guys. Let's start a Christmas rock trend on Pinterest. Let's do it. Who's with me? Crystal says that we celebrate the winter solstice, so I put the trees up the day before the first day of winter. Isn't that tomorrow? Is that tomorrow? That's tomorrow. So that's when you'll be doing it. Which means actually looked that up for the very first time, and it's like the longest night. It's so interesting when you think about like what that symbolized for so many cultures, or around the world. For so long was the winter solstice represented the longest night of the year because of the way the sun would set, and that would be the very last night of, is it the last night of how long it would take for the sun to come up or down? And then from that point going forward, you would see the sun take a little less time every day, because now I feel like I always say it backwards. Anyway, I never understood it, so I looked it up this time because I wanted to understand a little bit more, like, why do we call it a solstice and equinox? I wanted to learn things. I'm in learn mode this year. So, and that's why it's in your yearbook, is learning things I'm learning this month. So the more we learn, the more we keep our minds nice and mossy. So the Crafty Girl yearbook, it's launched tonight. Tonight was its big launch, its big celebration. It's thrust into the world, because this is what we're going to be doing in 2026. And I am still hoping to be having a little mini retreat, even if it's just one day of doing something in January, probably towards the end of January. So I still got that cooking, hoping that that's going to happen. Yeah, you remember that it was a quote from Kramer on Seinfeld. He's like, "My brain is so mossy." That stuck with me for so long. My brain's mossy. Okay, let's go. What are we going to do today? Are you team real tree, fake tree, or no tree this year because life? Do you have a real tree, a fake tree, or no tree this year because life? I'm no tree, but the tree I do have is a fake tree. Amy says real. Chris says fake. Miss Darling says fake tree at this stage of my life, but in my real tree in my younger days, same here. Miss Carrie, my cousin, says fake. Melanie says no tree. Lorelei says fake one. It's easy to store. Robin says fake tree. Grew up with real trees and they were vacuum killers. I did not know that. I don't think I realized that they do damage. Jen says fake. Lisa says fake. We have a fake, but I would love to have a real tree one year. Miss Bethany says fake and flocked. Ooh, yeah. Let me know if you flock your tree. Man, I know that was like a really fun thing in my family, was going to pick out the tree. I'm sure a lot of us had more of the real tree experience, like a lot of you have said, is like in your younger years. I feel like that there's more real tree experience, but it certainly seems like the fake tree. And maybe it's because the quality of fake trees have just gotten way better over the years. And real trees, they're kind of a pain to go get them. And also like there's a lot more to getting a real tree. The recycling of the tree, I don't know. Does it feel like it's the whole environmental thing? I don't know. There just seems like there's more involved with getting a real tree. They're not as easy to get depending on where you live. But fake trees, it's a one-time investment and you just pull it out year after year. Miss Janice says we're not allowed real trees in our building. See? That doesn't surprise me. I bet there's a lot of places that are like, nope, we're not having it. Mrs. Spencer, I love, love, love a real tree. I dream of owning a Christmas tree farm. Aw. but my cats will try to eat everything, and pine needles are toxic to them, so an artificial tree it is. Miss Bella, my boyfriend and I are doing the Lego Christmas tree because life. Oh, is it like a little tabletop tree? I noticed that Lego is just, they have like the coolest, fun types of like puzzle, like not puzzles, but like little, what do you call Lego things? Like these things. I've seen like flower arrangements. They have like so many cool things now. I did not know that they had a tree. You know, when when my daughter was really little, we moved to the state of Washington the first time, 2 days before Christmas. So there was no time to decorate or do anything with a tree. So I bought green construction paper and I cut it into triangles and I taped a tree to the wall, and we cut out ornaments out of construction paper and we taped it all up on the tree. And that was my tree. That was the most hokey thing I ever had to do, but I had to do what I had to do. She got real gifts that year, but I had no ability to get a tree after all of that traveling and everything, unpacking I had to do. Crystal says, I'm doing a bunch of mini fake trees plus swags of real greenery that we made. I do love the swags. There really is some really pretty swags I've been seeing lately. Miss Rebecca says, teeny tiny little fake tree. Jen says, I have a small tinsel tree that's silver. I love it. They all have these tiny trees and the little tiny ornaments. Yes, agreed. Thousands of dried pine needles tended to clog our vacuums. Next year I'm getting a real tree because I'll have a bigger space. Jana says, we have a little white tree. Bethany, when I was a kid, we had a real tree and a barrel planter, and my grandfather would wheel that thing into the house every year until it got too big and we put it in the ground. I love that. I love that. That is a reusable live tree. My folks had the silver tree with blue lights and ornaments. I loved it. It's a tabletop tree, the Lego tree. Oh, I'll have to look that up. I need to see what that looks like. Mrs. Auntie Caffeine Crafts. Hello. Welcome back. I made a Christmas flowery centerpiece with a candle in the middle with my grandson for his mommy. Aw. Amy says Legos equals my retirement. So you're talking about that arrangement was made out of Legos. And it cost enough to equal your retirement. Aw, Carrie. Oh, my cousin. Lisa says, yes, my other half has 3 Lego sets. He has Soundwave, Transformer, Jaws Scene, and the DeLorean from Back to the Future. Oh, well, thank you, Michelle. My great-grandmother was very poor as a child, and they couldn't afford a Christmas tree one year, so her father took a broomstick, cut holes in it, and put the fallen branches from the Christmas... Oh. You know, it's really interesting if we were to like collect all of like the little stories from those great-grandmother years, you know, like how people back then would have experienced Christmas, like kids got an orange for their present. If you ever read A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, I remember like Francie, how she experienced Christmas, like what they actually got for Christmas. I feel like that's kind of what it was. I can't remember specifically if I think that was their big present, was getting something like an orange. It was getting like a special piece of fruit. It was getting like a special, they didn't get toys. It was just like something that was just a little bit out of the ordinary from their normal day. It's just quite remarkable how different, you know, our generation has experienced things when you really think about it. And I would say that the Gen X generation is really the first generation to really get like spoiled, like the type of gift giving that we got compared to the one before, because our parents would have been the ones that had more of the, like, I know this from like my mom and her like explaining like how she experienced things, and her parents and all of us who have boomer parents they had direct influence from people who went through the Depression. So I think that mentality just sort of carried across in how they raised their kids, and they did not spoil their kids. Boomer kids were not spoiled at all. They often had to work really hard. They were not given a lot of things, and there was not a lot of things to give because that's just not, it was not as consumer driven then. So I think for us kids in the 70s and 80s, I think that we were the first kids that really had like glorious Christmases, and the Sears wish list that was just way more than what our parents could have ever dreamed of. It's just really, it's amazing when you think about it. And then what we do as parents, we like multiplied that even more when we raised our own kids. So yeah. Lisa says, I remember my dad telling me he used to draw pictures for his siblings as Christmas presents. It's true. Honestly, America's grown in wealth so much since the boomer generation. It is. So I just found a cassette tape of my mom interviewing my great grandma about the 1800s. The sound is deteriorated, but I hope to get it remastered next year. Oh, I hope that you're able to do that. What a wonderful treasure that would be. Amy says, yes, we had awesome Christmases in the 70s and 80s. We didn't get a lot during the year, but at Christmas it was epic. Yeah, I would say the same thing, is that we it's not that like we were getting stuff all the time, but at Christmas I certainly felt like we got more than usual. And so that would lead me to my next question. So tell me in the chat, what was like an ordinary thing that you would get at Christmas, but that you loved it so much? You loved getting it. It was like this ordinary thing that your parents always gave you. And it was probably more likely your mom, let's face it. Because moms tend to do more of the Christmas shopping. But what is something you would get? Maybe it was like a standard kind of Christmas gift that you'd get every year. And I'll give you an example. I think around the time we were like, I was probably like in junior high, and for like the 6 years of junior high and high school, my mom always gave us beef jerky. I loved this gift so much because it was all mine. I didn't have to share with anyone. I could take my little mouse bites and make every piece last as long as necessary. So I could make that canister last. And because I wasn't sharing it with my brother or my father, it was all mine. So I cherished that beef jerky. It was my, I would say one of my very favorite things that my mom gave us. We got that, and these things came from Costco. So this was like, she always shopped at Costco. So she would give us that, and they had some kind of like canister or some kind of something that would have the little bitty Snickers bars. So there would be some kind of like candy bar gift, which I probably didn't need, but I would make them last. I was not a like gobble everything up. I would stretch it out. So that's what I mean, is like that type of gift where it was like a standard thing, but you like it wasn't like a fancy thing, but it was something you loved. And Carrie, agreed. I was actually thinking about you. Me and Mark were talking about the Lifesavers book, and I was wondering, did Carrie get a Lifesavers book growing up? Did you guys get that too? So a lot of us probably got the Lifesavers book. That was kind of one of those really fun, glorious, standard little treats that a lot of us got. Did you know that they gave a makeover to those Lifesaver books? They are not the same. I was looking them up online because I wanted to get some, and I was so bummed to see that they've changed them completely. They no longer have like when I don't think they open the same way. They don't open up with all the different flavors. They're all the same rainbow, that one roll with all the fruit flavors, my least favorite group. They're all the same. They're all that. There's no butter rum. That was the magical flavor. So yeah, that was sad. So many kids they're cheated out of the proper Lifesavers book. Whoever made that decision at Lifesavers Company, that wrong. Just all kinds of wrong. I hope you feel good about yourself. When you left work that day, you got in your car and drove home. I hope you slept well that night. Let's see. Diane said, new flannel PJs. Yes, PJs were that was a good gift. I agree. I loved getting PJs. Handkerchiefs, Lisa said. Popcorn tins. Dawn agrees. She loved the Lifesavers book. So even up in Canada, you guys were at Lifesavers getting those little books. Amy agrees with the Lifesavers books. Bethany says that she got a can of black olives in her Christmas stocking. She absolutely loved it. And when my kids were little, I continued that tradition. See, Dawn said I saved the butter rum ones because they were so yummy. They were so special. Lifesaver books and Coke flavored lip smackers. Bethany agrees. Butter rum Lifesavers. Crystal says my mom would always gift me Christmas underwear every year. I loved it. Amy Googled the Lifesaver books and she says you're right. They're not the same. Yes, Crystal says the Lifesaver books, but the new ones don't feel the same. Yep. Mm-hmm. Right, Amy? Yeah, thanks a lot, buddy. My theory is the person who made the decision to axe those Lifesaver books did not get those Lifesaver books as a child. They did not. They did not experience the glory, the gloriousness of getting that little book in their stocking, and therefore they had no problem axing the whole project and turning them into this little unit. Like, what is that? A unit? I don't think that's the right word. Utilitarian. I think I got it on that try. Utilitarian Lifesaver. It's not. I can't even. It's not even a Lifesaver book. It's an abomination, is what it is. I'm sorry. It is. It's not the same. Good night, Shelley. Merry Christmas. Okay, we've heard now from a disgruntled community member who says the Lifesavers book was the worst thing ever created. In my grade school, we each brought a gift to trade, and for 5 years, I was unfortunate enough to draw that gift. Pooh on your Lifesavers book. Jan, from the bottom of my heart, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know it doesn't seem like it, but I am so sorry for that little kid trauma. I can just imagine how you felt pulling that gift year after year, knowing how much you didn't want it. Okay, I'm sorry. I will be more respectful towards your Lifesavers. Your feeling towards the Lifesavers. I think it's come back around to us. Those of us who loved it, it's come back with a vengeance. Hi, Miss Brenda. My little twinsy down there in Florida. Amy says the tropical fruit lifesavers don't exist anymore either. So sad. The tropical fruit is the one that had the coconut lifesaver in it. It was like the little white one. What the heck? It also had a coconut one in it. And I think it had a pineapple one. You know, now that you've said it, now that came back because I'm like, how many different rolls were in there? Now that you're saying it, now I'm remembering the tropical. Man, but let's some of us are not fans of the lifesaver book. Poor Jan. Poor Jan. Mrs. Spencer, don't upset a group of Gen Xers about the Lifesavers book. We will show up at Lifesavers headquarters with torches and pitchforks. I think we need to start. A campaign. We need to circulate. We need to get. What did they do? What do we do these days when we have grievances? I don't even know anymore. What is it that the kids do these days when they have a grievance? We need to do that. We need to get in touch with somebody. Who do we need to talk to? What platform do we use? How do we organize this? Heads are going to roll. Who do we need to speak to? I need to speak to a manager. Chris says he has no idea what this book is. Mr. Crafty, do you think you could conjure up a vintage Lifesavers book? Because although it apparently was available in Canada, Chris is not sure what we're talking about. Jan, when the image comes up, I want you to look away. Okay, look away. I'll tell you when to avert your eyes. Okay, Amy says in the tropical pack, every other one was opaque. Banana, pineapple, coconut. Oh, banana. See, the second you say it, oh my Lanta, I can taste it. I can picture it. Oh my goodness. Oh, bye, Dawn. Dawn, it was so good to see you. I'm so happy you joined us. Tell Serenity we said hi. It was really good to see you. Come back again on a New Year's Eve. There you go. Michelle says, everyone sign the petition. We ride at dawn. We need to find this Lifesavers executive. Merry Christmas. Okay. There you go. We are the Lifesaver Karens of the U.S. Kelly and Jan are united in their hate against the Lifesaver book. She hated it and has vowed to never give my kids one. Kelly, what did the Lifesavers book do to you? Jan shared her story, and I get it. I understand. But we need to understand where is this pain coming from? Please enlighten us. Jan told Chris, delight in your ignorance. The Lifesaver book is complete dreck. That sounds like a fancy word. So, Chris, you have been told, delight in your ignorance. That almost sounds like scripture. Delights in your ignorance. But not really, does it? Delight in your ignorance. Okay. So we have something of a mixed bag here. We have an allegiance to the Lifesaver book. And we have a decidedly we have those on the other side who do not feel the warm and fuzzy love of the Lifesavers. They have experienced great pain and some trauma surrounding them. Although, let's see. Kelly says it was in our stockings every year And for all I know, it is the exact same one year after year. My brother and I grown, just not a fan. I don't know, Kelly. That just sounds like there wasn't a lot of gratitude for the lifesavers. Just kind of sounds like maybe you just didn't appreciate the gift. Jan, my heart goes out to. I totally can understand. Little Jan, little girl Jan, ripped off year after year, expecting to trade and get something cool. And year after year, she gets that same crummy gift. And she's hoping to trade and get something better. I get it. But Kelly's just like, her parents put candy in her stocking and she's like, I don't know. Should they have given you black jelly beans? What's worse, black jelly beans or the Lifesavers book? I just need to know. There you go. We need to start making shirts, Michelle. We need to get on that. Justice for Jan. Amy says, like Charlie Brown at Halloween, I got a rock. Jan got a Lifesavers. Jan, we're not laughing at you. We're laughing alongside you, with you. Oh. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. There you go. So Anti-Caffeine Craft said, y'all don't have the same appreciation for candy I did as a kid. I had 2 diabetics in my family, and every night it was sugar-free Jell-O or sugar-free popsicles, even in December for dessert. So that Lifesavers book was life. It literally was life-saving. I feel like we need to have a candy court, okay? Court is in session. Okay. Jan said if she had drawn black jelly beans 5 years in a row, I would be joyous. She would have been skipping happily. Little Jan and her black jelly beans. Yes, Candy Court is now streaming on YouTube. Hear ye, hear ye. Court is in session. First, we need to drag in that executive and demand answers. What has happened? All right. Oh my gosh. Okay, Kelly, I can get behind you. Okay, here we are of one accord. We do not see eye to eye on the Lifesavers book, but you are redeeming yourself with the Tootsie Roll Bank. Tootsie Rolls. Not a fan. And I agree. The Tootsie Roll Bank. That's a big thumbs down for me. I agree. Okay. Hey, Miss Rachel Ray. Merry Christmas to you. Well, I would love for you to grab a YearBook. I would love for you to grab one. Join along the Crafty crew and grab a YearBook. There is a link posted at the top of the chat room for everyone who would love to have a YearBook. We're going to be crafting up a storm in our YearBook. Oh my gosh. Mrs. Michelle says, I always wanted a Tootsie Roll Bank. I love them. All right. Well, this is a 2026 YearBook. I just launched it today. I launched it actually in this Late Night Crafty Club. Kelly says, my second grader loves the Tootsie Roll Bank, and this year I can't find one. Oh, darn. How hard did you look? That's what I want to know. How hard? How much effort did you really put into it? That's what I want to know. Yeah, Tootsie Rolls, I think they're not for everyone. I would say Tootsie Rolls were the last thing I ever ate in my Halloween candy. They were the candy of desperation. They were the last resort candy. I did not like them. Now, their lollipop counterpart with the little Tootsie Roll center, they were good. I could deal with those. I feel like those were handed out pretty prolifically. I feel like I often got a lot of those. But I did not like a Tootsie Roll. Oh, did not. 10% effort. All right. Well, Kelly, I appreciate that your honesty. I appreciate that you're honest. But I hope she didn't hear you. Oh, actually, she was probably long asleep by now. Maybe. It is Friday night. And you're only a couple hours ahead. So it's not that late. All right. Okay. Let's do one last little question. What holiday trend do you just not get? What is a holiday trend that you just don't get? Matching. I'll throw one out, like a matching jammies, themed trees, elf on the shelf. And if you say that one, I don't get you. I'm sorry that I missed the elf on the shelf trend. I think I would have rocked elf on the shelf. I really do. I think I would have rocked that. I would have been writing scripts. I would have been making notes. I would have been planning that in the summertime. I think I would have loved doing elf on the shelf for my daughter. There you go. That's what I started thinking, Kelly. I'm like, it's only 10. She's probably still up. Okay, so Carrie says she does not get elf on the shelf. That's a trend she's not getting. Elf on the shelf. Robin says she would have failed if elf on the shelf would have existed for our littles. Amy says going to New York City to see the tree lighting. No way, Jose. And I live 20 miles away. Same goes for New Year's Eve in New York City. Amy, have you ever gone to the to New Year's Eve in the city ever in all the years you've been there? Oh. What is the holiday trend that you just do not get? And some of the examples that I threw out were like elf on the shelf, themed Christmas trees, matching jammies. I would say the matching jammies thing is the one that I think is a little over the top. I kind of feel like, when did that start and why? Is that me? Is that just me? I don't see anybody else saying it. Michelle says, ugly Christmas sweater parties. Why would you purposely wear something ugly? Also, elf on the shelf. No thanks. Wow, the elf is getting some hate. The elf is getting no love. Kelly says, our elf's name is Tippy. She's a beloved member of the Anderson family. She's not naughty, fun for all of us. So Kelly is in the elf on the shelf. She's in that crew. She's in that season of life where she is doing elfy things. Lisa agrees, the matching PJs. I will say this, that I find, like, if you go on Pinterest and type in elf on the shelf, Some of the funniest pictures I've seen for Elf on the Shelf, and I encourage you to look because it's just funny, is there's posts showing what dads do with the Elf on the Shelf. And I think they're the funniest pictures. Just showing the hilarious way they stage them, like crime scenes, just, because men have a different sense of humor a lot of times, and just the way that they, dad humor, their thought process is just different. So I think those are the memories that stand out to me, is like what I've seen on Pinterest and how many posts there are of what men have done with the elf. The elf itself looks it looks like the elves that we grew up with, that classic little red elf. Do you guys remember the little elves that they held onto their knees, like the little knees were tucked up and they were like clutching them? So they look like those little classic elves from like the 1960s. And it's based on a children's book. And so there's like a little story about the elf and how I don't know all the details. I don't really want to go into that and not tell it properly, but that's what it looks like. I would look it up on Pinterest, like type it in, and you'll see what people do with them. But they're funny. The pictures are funny. But I would have loved doing them. Amy says, yes, my mom still has them, red and green. My mom has a pair too. I grew up with them. And she started using them to use as like a little topper, like they back to back. And she started putting them on the top of her tree. There, see, Kelly says the same thing. Jeff definitely has a different take than I do. He likes, I think he likes the nights that he's in charge. See? So when the pictures that you see of men do them, they are very different than how moms do the styling the little elf. And so I think that's what's hilarious, is I don't think a lot of women would ever dream of putting the elf in such little scenes and positions and such. It's funny. Robin says, I did see a post on social media the other day where the family of elves went to watch their human kids play basketball. The elves were in jars sitting in the bleachers. So when you think about mini-me's and how, the mini-me adventure, some people treat their elves like that, like, doing stuff with them. And then, so like that's what it makes me think of, to Robin's point, which I think is fun. Michelle, if my computer is listening to you and my Pinterest algorithm is full of that darn elf after this LNCC, I'm going to have some big feelings. It is weird sometimes after you're like talking and stuff pops up in your feed. I do find that to be super creepy. Like, what is going on? What is happening? Okay, so I guess the elf is the one that got the most not loved. He was the most unloved. Here's one. What was your favorite ornament on the tree when you were growing up? What was your favorite ornament on the tree? Picture yourself as like your younger self, and it was time to put the little ornaments on. Was there a special ornament? Was there an ornament that you just loved, unwrapping? Was there an ornament that you always wanted to be the one that got it on the tree? Was there one that you were fascinated by? Was there an ornament that like played music or did something special that like you just loved this ornament? Did it come from somebody special in the family? Carrie says a mouse. There was one that was a favorite of yours. It was a mouse. Robin says bubble lights and also ornaments that would spin with the heat of the bulbs. Those old-fashioned bubble lights are really cool. Do they still make those or offer like what do they call that? Like a recreation of those? Are those still something you can get? Kelly says, I had Bert and Ernie ornaments that I loved. Melanie says, my favorite was the vintage treetop, the pointing top. Is it the kind that was like made like a, like, you know, like they have the glass bulb ornaments? Was it made like that? Like the shiny bright style, the shiny bright ornament? Janice says, we had this giant sky blue ornament with all this dark blue ribbon and pearls and things. I love that thing. Isn't it interesting how like there's so many ornaments that were like so gaudy and so like bedazzled and like amazing? Like the whole point of some ornaments is to be so like just like shiny and like I'm saying gaudy, but I don't mean it in a bad way. It's like it's the purpose of so many ornaments is to be super shiny and like, whoa, it's to Vegas up your tree. I love that. Miss Julie, I'm so happy to see your little face down there in Glendora. My mom's beaded ornaments. I totally know what you're talking about. I know those the beaded ornaments. She made several and we still have some. My mom has beaded ornaments too. I'd love to make some myself, but I don't know. Intimidated. It looks hard. It does look hard. I'm so happy to see you. Good night. Good night, Miss Darling. Merry Christmas to you. Miss Jan says an old German glass swan with a tail made from special fibers. Anti-caffeine crafts. We had a wood one with a piece that spun around and I loved, and my great grandma, who seems to be trending in my comments, she's on fire tonight, gave us a tiny bear made with real fur and tiny glass eyes. I loved it. Miss Kelly says I have bubble lights on our tree. Then yes, that's the answer to my question. Those look so cool. I'm gonna have to look into this. Mr. Chris says, to my parents' dismay, a silver bell that played music. Did it play silver bells? Amy says we all made candy canes in kindergarten of paper. Mine was colored well, so was my sisters, and my brothers looked like a blind monkey did it. We would laugh every year when we pulled them out. I bet. Also, he had one from a Disney Christmas party that we picked up at Disneyland when we went to my dad's work party as a kid. Fabulous memories attached to that. It had Tinkerbell on it. Isn't it interesting how much memories are attached to Christmas ornaments? Like when you think about so many things like in your life, in your house, there's something so magical about Christmas ornaments. There can be. I mean, I know not all families may have made a big deal about Christmas, but I feel like for so many people, Christmas ornaments, for some reason, hold so many memories. And part of it is because a lot of times kids make ornaments in school, so they end up on the tree. A lot of moms are very sentimental. I know that there's homemade ornaments on my mom's tree. Like I have an ornament on there from when I was in preschool. You know, like, so there's that's one aspect of it. And then there's stuff that, you know, like you grow up with seeing go on the tree all the time that may have existed before you were even born. And it's just like sometimes you can become infatuated with an ornament as a little child. And that just never, for some reason, some of that just never goes away. Or, you know, that's just me. But I don't think it's just me, because you guys wouldn't be involved in this conversation if it was just me. My chat room says otherwise. It is not just me. I loved all the ornaments my mom got from Cost Plus and Payless. I still have some of them. Paper chain tinsel. Hi, Miss Denise. Not a specific ornament, but when it came time to decorate the tree, my uncle would announce each ornament and describe it like Robin Leach from Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. It was hilarious. That is so cute. Rachel, did you guys have a camcorder that you filmed him doing that? That would be really cute if you guys had ever had a chance to film him. I know camcorders were not always something all families had, but What a precious memory to have. That's adorable. My grandmother would hand him the ornament to hang and he'd do his little monologue of each. It made it really fun and funny. That's adorable. You know, one thing is like by the time you're like our age, you know, you're getting into your 50s or and up, it's sometimes there's a little bit of like low level sadness attached to holidays because you realize that so many of the people that you grew up seeing at holidays are not there anymore. You know, like that's really starting to hit me is that I come from like such a big family and now everything has gotten smaller and smaller. And like so many of the people that used to be there aren't there anymore. You know, they have moved on. And that there's like part of that is like the realization like that time is passing on. And so it's very interesting, you know, holding on to like all the dear things that you remember because that's all you end up with is your little memories, which I think is I think that's really another reason why I was so driven to start really writing things down, because I realize when you are in the season of like your life becoming smaller in terms of like how much of your life you spend in a year, like not having those big events, not having big things happen to you, your life just becomes a lot of mundane. There's just a lot of it's just made up of a lot of small things. And sometimes it's really easy just not to pay attention to small things, to not really notice it. Everything just blends together. And I wanted to feel like there's something that makes me start really paying attention and noticing small things again, you know, something. And so like whether it's in the clubhouse where, you know, being kind of nudged to remind each other, like the small things matter, these small things. And I think part of it too, sometimes a lot of these things can sound cliche. Like the word intentional started feeling very cliche to me. But I realized when I started to explain this book, like there's a reason why that word, there's a reason why I wanted to keep using it, because you are making intentional choices by designing my month, by designing my season. Like I'm going to do these things. I'm going to plan for them. I'm going to build them into my book and actually execute on them. And it's not just like I'm going to go take a trip. I'm going to do these specific things in my ordinary life. You know, I'm going to get a new tea. I'm going to watch this particular show. It's kind of like the fun thing about camp, which is a kind of a bigger experience, but I'm going to take these little pieces of this little imaginary place I go, but I'm going to take that on a smaller scale and kind of pop it into my month. I'm going to build these little, this commercial just popped into my head. What is that coffee commercial that would try and get you to whisk you away into having like special moments? It's kind of like that principle is you're trying to become more present. You're trying to pay attention to smaller moments, to have these, something about moments. Why am I thinking of an ad? A coffee ad of all things. Am I remembering that correctly? This feels like an 80s coffee ad. I have been influenced so much by Julie. It probably is Taster's Choice. I'm listening to myself going, I sound like a coffee ad. It's for the special moments in your life. It's for that very fresh feeling. Anyway, that was my thinking, was to try to infuse a little magic into your month, to have like little special moments. And it kind of reminded me of camp and how we're obviously building this bigger camp experience, making a cabin, whisking you away to like your little 12-year-old world. But this is about making like little smaller moments, a little like developing an art practice. I love that, the sound of that. Like I really want to practice more of like my creativity and like working on a skill, learning something about that. So like I do, I think to myself, well, I want to take people along on this little journey with me. So I'm going to develop this book for myself, and I'm going to to offer it to the community so that we're all kind of working together in documenting these things, because I know I'm not alone in that. This is a facet of life. Once you kind of are in the middle age, the middle season of your life, that this is how time works. It starts speeding up. Time's passing faster, and it feels like you're starting to forget more of your life. It's disappearing. And I'm not doing all the big, I'm not living a big life, you know? I think when things feel big, they feel like, oh, I should document that. I should photograph that. I should do something. But I want us to be thinking of small things are worth jotting down. Like tonight, there was some really funny things. How many funny things have happened on this show? Funny jokes, funny little expressions. These are things that I should jot down. These are things I should record. These are like, there's been so many funny things, but these little funny things make up life. They make up the reason why I keep showing up and have been doing this off and on for 10 years. You know, there's a reason why this continues to propel me forward. And in this time of doing this, I have gotten over so many different issues, like never wanting to ever be on camera, never ever wanting to talk to other people. Being the kid who was like, I'll take the F rather than get up and talk in front of people. And here I am, you know, live streaming the way that I have for so long. So it's very interesting how this dynamic, snapping on a camera and talking like I do and can talk for as long as I can. It's very interesting, but that's something that, like, those kinds of observations, they have somewhere to go now. I finally have a little system, and maybe that's going to benefit you too. Maybe you didn't have that either. Maybe blank journals, you give up on them like I do. About a month into doing it, the practice just falls away. So maybe this particular system, it has other fun things in it, might give you a reason to stick with it and do different things that help you continue documenting, even if it's just throwing stickers on your pages, even if it's just showing up in different ways. Maybe you don't really have a lot to say, but maybe you have something that you want to do. Maybe it's just, I feel like making a collage today. I feel like throwing some stickers on the page. I feel like showing up and at least writing down what I'm currently doing this month. So you have something to show for. Here's what I did in October, because that's like pretty simple. And your gratitude page, that's really good for your mental health. You know, just focusing when your world feels like it's kind of fallen apart. That's a good place to go to. It's not as bad as I thought. There's a lot of things that are going well for me. So this is kind of what I was thinking would be a good thing. And if it's good for me, it's going to be good for my friends. So that is why I'm thinking this is going to be a really great year going forward, because this is going to be a new practice to start. And for the first time, I'll have a whole year. This isn't seasonal. It's a whole year. So I've done all the work for myself. I won't have to worry about the Corey in the summer or Corey in the fall that feels like, oh, I just don't want to do it. I'm just done with that. Nope. This Corey did the entire thing all at once. I've never done that before. So now I have it. I have one book and I can keep grabbing this over and over and over. And so can you if you want to. So let's see how it turns out. Let's see what we record. And at the end of the year, we can celebrate and see how many pages did I fill out? How did I do? You know, maybe it's going to be like, wow, this was so fun. That's what I think will happen, is there'll be some things in here that I really loved. And there'll be some things in here that are like, that was okay. And you know what? The best part is, if there's stuff in here that doesn't resonate for you after you purchase it, throw like stuff on it. Make a collage, art journal over the page. Throw a picture on it, and you don't have to look at it again. And every time you come on that page, come to that page that you don't like, just throw something on it. That's all you have to do. Paste over it. Or if there's 2 pages you don't love, you can hide the body. You just glue the pages together. Like that. I have taught you well, grasshoppers. That's all you have to do. That is a life skill that you could go forward with, okay? It's how you hide the body. glue the pages together and move forward. No one has to see anything. So anyway, that's what this is for. It debuted tonight. The link is in the chat room. It's also going to be at the top of the description box. If you happen to be watching this in the replay club, that is also where you can find it. I am really excited. This is going to be supported all throughout the year in the Late Night Crafty Club, along with the play kit. So the Crafty Girl play kits will also be supported. I will also be supporting this in the Reset Girls Happy Place Club. That is my private membership. There is a $5 level to join, and then a $15 all access level that gets you the play kit is included in that level, and 3 private live streams as well. And oh, and one last thing, if you are on my newsletters, you will be getting freebies all year long that are also designed to fit inside the yearbook too. So I am supporting this book in all avenues, and that is something I have never promised before on any of my projects. So this is something that will be supported throughout the year. So I will continue pulling it out, showing stuff. And yes, the price will not change. This product will just be evergreen. It's just up there all year long. It will not be taken off. It's not like you have to get it now. It's not going to be there next month. It's up there. It's evergreen forevermore until I suppose until the end of the year. And then next year I will probably upload a new version of it. So my sweet, sweet friends, it has been so much fun hanging out with you. But I have to get going because I have to get packed because we are going to be getting up and going tomorrow. And Miss Rachel, if you're an all access member, the Crafty Girl Play Kit is what is included in that membership. This is separate. This is not a requirement of the membership. This is an optional product, not something that you have to do. The play kits are optional purchases if you're not in the membership, and they are also not required to have the yearbook. I have made every play kit to be a standalone little fun kit activity, but the one I'm designing for the winter play kit, it is called the Cut and Paste edition. The pieces inside are going to be glorious in this book if you have purchased it and you want the play kit. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to put any pressure on you to purchase anything. But anyway, I'm going to continue doing the Late Night Crafty Club. The next one will be New Year's Eve at 5 o'clock. Same bat time, same bat channel. So we will be closing out 2025 and saying, well, probably not saying hello to 2026 together, but at least closing out 2025. Like hello, hi. And then I'll probably be on for a couple hours, and then we will say goodbye. And then I will get back to my regular twice a month schedule in January is what I hope to be doing. But I love your little faces. It has been so wonderful. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday and Merry Christmas, and however you celebrate that. And I love you guys to pieces. Thank you for making my heart so happy. My cup completely runneth over tonight. I have a whole new catalog of jokes. So I am going to go, pack, and I love you guys, and I will see you real soon, hopefully on New Year's Eve, and enjoy your families, friends, and all of the things, and all the festivities that's about to commence. Be safe, and I will see you soon. I love you. Bye, everybody.
Gather round, it's Friday night. Time for crafts and pure delight. Paper, scissors, let's get started. With vintage tape, we'll be wholehearted. Every honey deserves her day in the sun. With enamel dots, we're ready for fun. Layering circles and punch stars too. In the Late Night Crafty Club, it's all for you. to make a plan. Planners and office supplies in hand. Honey, half-season, whimsy arrows, crafting magic like true heroes. Every honey deserves her day in the sun. With enamel dots, we're ready for fun. Layering circles and punch stars too. In the late night crafty club, it's all for you. Doodads and gumballs, let's create a scene. Join the club where we live our dream. So grab your scissors and come along. Together we'll craft and sing our song. Slip into jammies, grab something to sip. Stickers and golden scissors, let's take a crafty trip. The playbook's open with listers, got a list. In this crafty paradise, our dreams coexist. Every honey deserves her day in the sun. With enamel dots, we're ready for fun. Layering circles and punch stars too. In the late night crafty club, it's all for you. Cards and pockets display our creativity. 32-pound paper so smooth and buttery. Scratch your cobs, help your ideas flow. What will you make during the late night crafty show? Gather round, it's Friday night. Time for crafts and pure delight. Paper, scissors, let's get started. With vintage take, we'll be wholehearted. Every honey deserves her day in the sun. With enamel dots, we're ready for fun. Layering circles and punch stars too. In the late night crafty club, it's all for you. Late night crafty club, it's all for you. Late night crafty club, it's all for you. Slip into jammies, grab something to sip. Stickers and golden scissors, let's take a crafty trip. The playbook's open with listers, got a list. In this crafty paradise, our dreams coexist. Cards and pockets display our creativity. 32-pound paper so smooth and buttery. Scratch your cards, help your ideas flow. What will you make during the late night crafty show?